Don't look now, but national media might be sleeping on the Bengals' biggest move of the offseason. We'll talk Dexter Lawrence and get into much, much more right now on First Word.
Welcome to First Word, Cincinnati's only morning sports show, breaking down the biggest moments and the stories shaping Cincinnati sports with analysis that cuts through. First Word, setting the agenda in Cincinnati sports.
And we are live in the Queen City, downtown Cincinnati. I'm James Rapien. He's Jacob Tissot. Marisa Contipelli. Last day of vacation, Marisa. I hope those feet being up all week have been good and treated you well. What's up, man? Friday. Friday's here. Let's go.
Feels good.
Got to bring the energy. Really excited. Thank you so much. All week long, we felt the love here as we launch Cincinnati's morning sports show. And that's what we are. Every single morning, start your day with us, 7 to 11, right here on First Word. And plenty to dive into today. But I just wanted to start the show by saying thank you for following, watching, supporting us, whether it's YouTube, on RESN, listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you're listening, obviously live on Mixlr as well. We're just getting started here on our launch week, and we appreciate all of the support, all of the kind messages. We do have a special guest in studio live today at 10. At 10. So buckle up. And it's Bengals related. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. Bengals related, 10 a.m. right here in studio. You think they know who it is?
I'm getting excited, and I know who it is. It's a great tease. They should be excited, too. Big guests all week. It's been an awesome first week of First Word, and many more weeks to come.
Big is a good word to use. Big guests. There you go. There's your tease. One of the big additions this offseason, and it was a major addition this offseason for the Cincinnati Bengals, was Dexter Lawrence. Arguably the biggest trade in franchise history, probably the biggest trade in franchise history. I think the most shocking trade in franchise history. And it's funny because I think we view it that way, and we talk about it that way. And I think in the building you can clearly tell whether it's Joe Burrow, whether it's Ted Karras, which you can check that entire interview out on our YouTube channel right now. Do it during a break, though. Stay with us live right now. But everybody understands the gravity, but I want to say like the orbit that the defense is going to have around Dexter Lawrence and the impact that he could have. And yet I'm reading, and you got FoxSports.com versus Colin Cowherd, who's the biggest face of Fox Sports, and they're different. They're on different paths here, and I think it's interesting that Fox Sports has Dexter Lawrence in that trade ranked among the top moves. Colin Cowherd has it outside of the top 10. And there you go. Bengals trade the 10th pick for Dexter Lawrence, 5th on FoxSports.com. Not shocked by that at all to see that ranking.
No, not at all. And honestly, if I was to say I was shocked with that ranking, it would be that it's on the lower end of things. Yeah. I think the Dexter Lawrence move is certainly one of the biggest moves in the league this year. 5 would be the absolute floor for that. And I assume it got bumped down a couple spots this week with the Myles Garrett trade and the A.J. Brown trade, but still a massive trade. And I just think it takes, moves like that to another level when the team is presumably 1 or 2 pieces away from competing. Adding Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals defense certainly elevates them into contender conversations, and that's not necessarily the case with all of the big moves this offseason. So while Dexter Lawrence is obviously one of the best players to get moved this offseason, I think where he went and what he was given up for also just adds to how big that trade was.
For sure. It gives the Bengals a realistic chance to get back to contention. And I think that's it. I think that's what, when you look at this really high level, why everybody's so excited about it is because now you can see the vision.
Yeah.
Whether or not it comes together, who knows? But one of the best in the business, and whether you like him or not is kind of irrelevant because he's one of the best in the business. And Colin Cowherd is awesome. And opinions aside, whatever you want to say, obviously he's been great at what he does and has done for a long, long time. And so when he puts out this list, and we will play it, when he puts out this list, I got to be honest, I thought Dexter was going to be top 3, top 4, because he would see, you give Joe Burrow a real guy on defense, it's going to matter. And that wasn't the case. Let's look at his top 10 moves of the offseason.
The top 10 moves so far in the offseason.
Number 10.
So number 10's Kenneth Walker, and he is an area of need for the Chiefs. But there's some injury stuff to be concerned about.
Number 9.
Mike Evans to the Niners. He's a Hall of Fame player. Injuries are an issue.
Number 8.
I think Kyler Murray to the Vikings is going to work. I don't think it's going to be 14 wins like Sam Darnold, but I could see it being 10.
Number 7.
Jared Verse to the Browns. You get a cost-controlled pass rusher. Don't tell me Cleveland was the big loser yesterday.
Number 6.
DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills. DJ Moore, smart, veteran, durable, tough. I think Chicago's going to miss him more than people think.
Number 5.
Number 5, Trent McDuffie. He's just a great player, and he addresses a massive need.
Number 4.
Jalen Waddle to the Broncos. He gives them a number 1 receiver, and I think he's going to be excellent.
Number 3.
A.J. Brown to the Patriots. This guy has been hyper-productive with Ryan Tannehill and Jalen Hurts, and now he gets Drake May. Fantasy football guys, draft A.J. Brown.
Number 2.
Tyler Linderbaum to the Raiders. For a rookie quarterback, I think he is a massive get for the Raiders.
Number 1.
5 straight seasons with 14 sacks, Myles Garrett. The sack opportunities are going to go through the roof for Myles Garrett.
DJ Moore being 6. That's the one. I'm out. Get out of here with this guy who's my age, and he's not, but still close to my age, and had a down year last year. Maybe good still, maybe not, but that's when I was like, get out of here. There's no way, because you have the same doubts about DJ Moore, and it's a receiver, and it's a need. I get it.
He was given a massitive extension, too, as soon as he got there.
And it was a second-round pick. Like, if a DJ Moore's worth a second-round pick, then Dexter Lawrence is worth a first-round pick. I just, the impact that they could have, I'm stunned. I wonder if they just forgot that deal happened. And I'm dead serious.
That was part of my thought, too, because I quite literally don't get the justification for having it outside the top 10. And maybe arguing outside the top 5, like the other Fox article had in the top 5. It doesn't make sense.
It's the Browns. They're not going to go anywhere. They're going to lose 12 games this year.
The thing I was thinking is maybe he was planning for around mid-season where he has to do where Colin was wrong, and he was just planning to have Dexter Lawrence's impact in that segment and say that it was one of the better trades of the offseason.
That's kind of a fun bit. Do you think he tries to get it wrong on purpose sometimes to give himself
just set himself up for a really good take?
I think we're overanalyzing it, but it is kind of funny.
It makes more sense than thinking it's not a top 10 move.
The conspiracy theory that he's doing this to set up where Colin was wrong is far better than, Dexter Lawrence isn't one of the top 10 moves of the offseason. It was literally the 10th pick.
Yeah.
And you could go either way. You could say, like, if you wanted to mention it the other way and be like, the Giants moved on from this disgruntled star and they go get a franchise guard with the 10th pick, fine. If you wanted to go that way, to not mention it.
Yeah.
What do you mean? But no, I mean, I think the Lawrence deal impacts the NFL far more than Jared Verse to the Browns. Now, I get the logic of that. So I'm just, of Myles Garrett being involved in it being a bigger move. Sure, he's the best defensive player on the planet. Probably the best defensive player of my life. I'm trying to think. I guess you could go Reggie White would be the other one. You wouldn't be around for that one. So that would be it. But like Myles Garrett's awesome, and now he has a chance to win. Great. Dexter Lawrence is awesome, and now he has a chance to win.
Yeah.
And he's joining an elite quarterback, and he's joining a defense that desperately needed playmakers and has been engaged. I would be stunned if 6 months from now we aren't saying it's one of the top 10 moves of the offseason. Like something went really, really wrong if Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals doesn't send an earthquake throughout the rest of the NFL this fall. Like that's it. That's where expectations are. And don't let these narratives, which again, it's not everybody, but when these narratives are out there, don't let that get to you, Bengals fans, because it's very, very real, the impact that he should have, could have, and for my money, will have on this Bengals defense and on this Bengals organization.
Yeah, and I think the worry is exactly what you said right there. If he doesn't end up as a top 10 addition of the offseason in the NFL, then something did go wrong. We know how big he has to be and how well he has to play to make the impact on this defense that we all know he can make and get this Bengals team back to where we think they belong. And that's the thing with adding Dexter Lawrence is it changes how the whole offseason is viewed. He needs to be a star in that defense because the conversation around a lot of these guys filling a smaller role, taking a lot off their plate, being able to to pair him with a lot of these other guys in the interior of the defensive line and have success because of his double teams. And a lot of that falls away if he's just average or above average. He needs to be a star, and that's what's going to truly change what this Bengals defense looks like.
No doubt about it. No doubt. We had ESPN's Jeremy Fowler on the show yesterday. Awesome for Jeremy to join us. Hopefully it's the first of many, many times. This entire thing is on our YouTube page at First Word Cincy. Here's what Fowler had to say about how the NFL views the Bengals and views the Dexter Lawrence trade.
It's viewed as a move that was necessary for a defense that's just been subpar for the last 2 years. You have to make a statement. He's still a player who should have multiple prime years left, who didn't have the sack production in 2025, but before that was probably the best defensive tackle in the NFL. So the Bengals are banking on him getting back to that point. If you look at some of these other trades for superstar players, superstar non-quarterbacks, they've had to give up a little bit more than the Bengals gave up. The Bengals gave up just the straight one. You know, it was a high pick, but the Bengals looked at the draft and said, we need to get a high-impact defensive player. We believe that the numbers are not going to play in our favor for where they were picking, which I believe was number 10 overall at the time.
Yep.
And there were going to be guys ahead of them picked that maybe they wanted that were going to be off the board at that point. So take the guesswork out, get a premier player. The money's not bad. I was really, from a Bengals standpoint, they can be happy with what they gave up financially. They gave him a raise, but it wasn't a crazy new deal compared to some of the money you're seeing out there. So this is a player who is probably on the back nine of his career, but on the front end of the back nine still has at least a couple years where they can be highly productive. Some of these other trades, Sauce Gardner, Myles Garrett, some of these other star players, defensively, you're giving up way more than a first-round pick. So to get Lawrence for a one, the sense league-wide is that that's really good value. Even though it was a prime pick, it was only one pick, and that's reasonable for a player of that caliber.
That entire conversation with Jeremy Fowler is on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Just search First Word with James Rapien, or on YouTube, First Word Cincy. Very, very simple there. Look, the value part is a good part of this as well because of what the premium is now. DJ Moore may be done. I'm not saying he's done, but he may be done. And I think he's going to have an impact for the Bills, but maybe not. I don't know. He's got to go out there and show it. It was a second rounder. Like the cost for Max Crosby, if you would have told me going into this offseason, who would you rather have, Dexter Lawrence or Max Crosby? Who would you rather the Bengals trade for? I would have said Dexter Lawrence, and it's not hindsight. It's because he's harder to find. It's because Max Crosby's dealt with multiple injuries over the past couple of years that may change his career. He might not be the same player. Now, do I think Baltimore failed him because they got cold feet, because they gave up 2 ones, because they overpaid? Absolutely. That's exactly what happened. And they realized they could get Trey Hendrickson. But the Bengals got good value there. They were able to extend Dexter Lawrence 1 year, $23 million extension. He's under contract for the next 3 years. This makes all the sense in the world. It's definitely a top 10 move this offseason, probably top 5. And it could end up being number 1 if Dexter Lawrence is a Pro Bowl defensive tackle that brings stability to a defensive front that has been awful over the past couple of seasons.
I was thinking through this last night after I saw this clip to see just how crazy it was for me and trying to remove any kind of orange-colored glasses when talking about the Dexter trade. And in my opinion, right now, it's the 3rd biggest move of the offseason behind the 2 trades that happened this week. A.J. Brown and Myles Garrett.
Sure.
Not the Jared Verse side of it, the Myles Garrett side of it. I think the Rams adding one of the best, if not the best, defensive players of recent memory certainly takes them up another level already as the Super Bowl favorites. And then can't ignore that the Patriots were in the Super Bowl last year with an ascending young quarterback. So adding a legitimate wide receiver 1 in A.J. Brown I think is a huge, huge move. But right after those 2, and certainly not far behind, is I would have Dexter Lawrence at 3. So I'll go even one further and say the Fox article that ranked him 5th was wrong as well. I think Dexter Lawrence is going to change everything about how this Bengals team is viewed in the league and nationwide, and also just how they can compete.
We are fired up here on a Friday. It's a fired up Friday here on First Word. Should we start that?
Fired up Friday?
Fired up Friday.
I can get with that.
It's fun. We have Why You Slept coming up next. We have a special guest coming your way at 10 in studio live. It's a big guest. Plus, plenty of Bengals conversation, a Reds preview, so much more ahead. We're just getting started here on a Fired Up Friday on First Word.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones, and today we're at the Acres here in Evendale, Ohio. It actually has been around for 70 years and was just redone in 2022. And I'm going to get a golf lesson from the one and only Brett Burchikoff. Brett, get on in here. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
No.
All right, well, you know what? I'm even worse at golf. I did take a golf lesson once when I was 20 years old. I haven't really golfed since that day. All right, so now we're going to take a look around the Acres and see just exactly where we are. There's so much fun stuff to do here.
It's really cool.
So what's great about the Acres is it's a whole family event. They have 16 bays inside, they're open year round, and 22 bays outside. And then you're going to look over here, we got family fun putt-putt. I'm even worse at putt-putt, okay? First timer, so what do I need to know?
Okay, so kind of three things, three pillars. I like to call them posture, just like your stance to the ball, kind of your address, the grip of the club, how you grip it, and then your alignment, your aim.
Posture,
Grip, and alignment.
Alignment.
PGA. PGA.
That's what the PGA means?
No, feet kind of shoulder width apart, maybe a little wider.
All right.
You want to bend at the hips a little bit.
Okay.
And just a good athletic stance. Next is the grip. Easiest way for beginners to learn is like
Hold on,
that.
do you do this?
I do that. Feet a little wider. The shoes are going to be tough, but
Yeah, these
there you
are
go.
stable. You ready?
Good swing. A little shorter swing.
Swing and a miss.
Got it out there.
Down the first baseline, baby. I really am trying really hard.
There you go.
Look at that!
Dead straight.
You're a great teacher.
Dead straight.
Heck yeah!
Wow.
Jesus. No, so here's the, want me to, yeah, you know, pretty much an expert here now.
Another rebound rundown update, this time for the Cincinnati Bearcats under first-year head coach Jared Calhoun coming over to Clifton from Utah State. And Jared Calhoun having to put together an entirely new roster this year for Cincinnati. Not a single returning player from last year's Bearcat team. Tylen Riley, the headline piece for this roster, a transfer in from Tulsa, the point guard of this group. Miles Colvin, a transfer from Wake Forest, somebody who has national championship game experience from his time at Purdue in that game against UConn. Tyler Tejada out of the CAA from Towson. Riley Allensbach from George Mason. Travion Carson, Jaden Hastings. Eric Mahaffey, the local product from Moeller. Spent his first year at Akron, now finds his way down to UC, plus three players who already have experience in Jared Calhoun's system from Utah State. That is a fantastic balance. You have to have a group that has played for your head coach before. Jared Calhoun has that. Much more coverage of the Bearcats on the Rebound Rundown. Stay tuned.
Fired Up Friday rolls on. I'm James Rapien alongside Jacob Tissot, and this is First Word. We are Cincinnati's morning sports show. Every single weekday, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown. It is, how you say, launch week. I don't want to yell too loud. It's early. Launch week. It is launch week here. And we're really excited. And before we dive into While You Slept and all of the goodies that we have, and we have his St. Xavier Bombers, we have plenty of baseball, even though the Reds were off, and a lot of fun stuff to get to, including why T. Higgins is the best value maybe in sports right now. But before that, we have to say thank you. Everybody that tweeted, everybody that's reached out on social. Rick Broering wrote an awesome social post article about the show and about the blueprint, all these things. I just want to say thank you. And our guy Sam Chavez put together an awesome edit of all of the reaction and everything like that when we announced First Word. And we announced it 8 days ago. That was our announcement date. But obviously, this is our first week on the air. Let's roll this awesome highlight courtesy of Sam.
I'm happy to announce that Cincinnati finally has a morning sports show, and it's one that you can watch right here on YouTube called First Word.
I love it. Shout out to Sam. Again, this is sweet. I love how he highlighted a bunch of the tweets, all of the reaction that we've had. I mean, you're talking about millions of people in impressions all over social media have made First Word or talked about First Word or mentioned the Crown in First Word. And so we're appreciative.
Yeah, absolutely. The response last week for the announcement was unbelievable, and it's rolled all the way through this week. Thank you to everyone watching on The Rock or in the YouTube chat every day, voting on the polls on Twitter, checking out the clips or the interviews on YouTube. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to keep rolling all the way through the summer, all the way through football season, and for years to come.
Yeah, for sure. And so let's dive into everything you missed while you slept, and it starts with this contract that a wide receiver, of course we're starting with wide receivers. You're going to give me the keys to while you slept. We're going to start with wide receivers. Christian Watson enjoying his money, man. I mean, the Green Bay Packers signing Christian Watson to a whopping contract extension that makes, I got to be honest, Jacob, makes T. Higgins a value. It makes a lot of these guys a value. Yeah. ESPN's Adam Schefter was the first to report this. Look at this. 4 years, $110.5 million. $31 million signing bonus. I thought it said $31 million guaranteed. $31 million signing bonus. I like Watson's talent. This feels like a lot, just shy of $30 million per year.
It was shocking for me to see this, especially with them extending Jaden Reed not too long ago as well. A lot of money in a receiving room that I think is still looking for a wide receiver one. Maybe the belief, clearly, with the extension to Christian Watson, the belief is that he can be that guy. But my question would be, can he play enough games to be that guy? The question with Christian Watson his entire career has been the health and the concerns with the injuries. When he's on the field, he's really, really good, but he's just hasn't been on the field much. So maybe they get a steal in a way here with Christian Watson if he can stay healthy through this contract, stay on the field, play more than he has through his rookie deal. But that was my first thought as well when this came across was, wow, T. Higgins, what a steal he is in this world. Because there's no debate about where he ranks in the world. It's just whether or not he's a top 10 or top 15 receiver, basically, in the grand scheme of things. And he's certainly paid well below his skill level.
Yeah, this is why you pay. This is why you get ahead. DJ Turner, get ready because you should be paid next. And guess what we'll be saying a year from now? Man, did you see what that corner got? He's not better than DJ Turner. Man, did you see who? That's usually what happens with these guys. Yeah. And if you get it right, and I think, honestly, DJ Turner is a better corner than Christian Watson is a receiver.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
Because
I don't think that's really that particularly close.
And that's what's so interesting about this deal. Clearly, the Packers see something in Watson that we don't see yet.
Yeah.
With T, we saw big, strong, physical. Had some injuries, but big, strong, physical, can make plays. Maybe they're like, look, if he gets that hamstring right, much like T, he can have 21 touchdowns in 2 years because that's what T. Higgins has over the past couple of years. T. Higgins, one of the best values in sports. All right, full disclosure, my guy next to me is a St. Xavier Bomber. What class, 2018?
2020.
Dude.
Trying to age me a little bit over here.
Oh my God.
2020.
Well, anyways, Jacob's former classmates won on the baseball field yesterday, advanced to the Final Four at State.
That's right.
I love this, and I love that Joe Danneman was there to capture it, but look at that.
You see it right there. First regional title since 2003. What a run for this Bombers team getting back to the state Final Four. And this was the regional championship last night. But 2 nights ago, St. X no-hit Elder on the way to the regional final. So it's been an unbelievable run for these Bombers. Not something they're going to forget anytime soon. Headed to face Olentangy Orange in the Final Four. Muller also in the Final Four will face Perrysburg. So great for the GCL South putting on for baseball in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, love it. I love seeing 2 teams in the GCL South representing and state title on the line.
I hope so.
That's I would love it. If you could get that far, then it's like, all right. For me, it would be like, all right, you can't lose because it's this area. Like, if you can win a state title in this area, I'm going to be all about it. So Go Big Mo. Go St. X. I know that pains you.
I'll do the Go
that
St.
blue
X.
looks good, by the way.
It does.
That blue on the graphic game looks good.
We're gonna need some more St. X graphics if they're gonna look that good.
I mean, I know. I'm just thinking like I want first word merch with that blue on it.
For sure.
Yeah, that looks really darn good here. All right, let's keep it rolling here. The NBA Finals in full swing and banned. Yeah. Banned. I don't know what it's like being banned. I've never been banned from anything in my life. But Charles Oakley, otherwise, has been banned from MSG. And despite Michael Jordan, despite Adam Silver, despite multiple people higher ups in the NBA, it doesn't matter. Charles Oakley still banned from MSG. Will not be there at Game 3 or Game 4. Not a fan of this, and this is like the James Dolan ego element. This is also what happens when you burn bridges. And I'm not saying it's Oakley's fault that the bridge is burnt, but when bridges get burnt, sometimes it's hard to rebuild them, and this is an example.
Absolutely. It's certainly a shame that the Knicks are back in the finals, and one of the most iconic courtside Knicks fans is not going to be there in Charles Oakley. So certainly a shame, but kudos to Silver and Michael Jordan for trying to get this mended and get him there in MSG for these games. Obviously, it would be a big moment to have him back on courtside for these games, but not going to happen. And I mean, I'm sure Dolan just taking the chance to get this back out in the news.
See, if I'm Dolan, and he's handled this about as poor as you can. Just ridiculously. PR dumb.
He
right?
handles almost everything about as poor as you can.
He stayed out of things. So he's handling it well now. He's running the Knicks well by just not doing it and worried about the pyramid, or the sphere, excuse me. The pyramid. The sphere in Vegas.
The sphere saved the Knicks.
Can you imagine? This is the level of petty, though, like if you're Dolan. Invite him backstage at the sphere. Like, do that. You can't come to MSG, but you could come to the sphere and that would be the petty thing to do.
That would be pretty funny.
You know what I would do, though? Is just let him back, man. He's Knicks legend.
I bet Dolan banned him from the sphere, too.
Well, yeah, I know. Oh, well, sure, but I'm just saying the other way. Yeah, clearly too petty for that. Russell Wilson, Hall of Famer?
I think so. I was thinking about it over the last couple of days, going through some of the numbers. He was so good in Seattle, and some of the counting numbers are getting there. I think so.
Officially retires, joining CBS Sports as an analyst. I wonder how he's going to be as an analyst. He's very cheesy on camera.
Yeah.
And that's coming from me, who just said, fired up Friday, right? Like, I mean, this guy, I do wonder. Now, it's a pregame show, so maybe. But you look at that, and James Brown, awesome. Nate Burleson, awesome. Bill Cowher, been there, done that for the past literally Jacob's whole life. And so I look at Russell Wilson, how is that going to fit? We'll see. I think it's interesting. I think it could be a home run. It may also be grilled cheese sandwiches every single Sunday morning ahead of the game, or Sunday early afternoon on those pregame shows.
No, I'm thinking this is one of the two ends of the spectrum, and no chance it lands anywhere in between. Because I think there's a very realistic chance that Russell Wilson is awesome on TV.
You're big on Russ.
I like Russ. I've always liked Russ.
I'm surprised.
I don't love the social media stuff, but I think Russ is one of the more underrated quarterbacks of my lifetime. So I like to, kind of try to prop him up a little bit when I get the chance. I really do like Russell Wilson, and I think.
So last year when I was like, "Hey, trade for Russell Wilson," you were in. I was
preferred
pushing that
Flacco,
narrative.
but I was in.
I didn't think Flacco would be available to the Bengals.
Fair. No,
because of the Browns
fair.
connection. So I didn't even really consider that as a realistic possibility. But yeah, once it happened, I was like,
also,
but yeah,
definitely
Wilson,
one of the other Giants quarterback would have been way more fun.
And the Bengals felt that way too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Wilson would be more available because he's Mr. Unlimited. He's got to get a wireless deal, right? Has he had one yet?
Probably.
Unlimited?
He should. I'm going to go get a Danger Witch for lunch today.
It's unbelievable. Unlimited, like my range when I play Coop Dog one-on-one. Now let's keep it going here with the funniest baseball play. This is the play of the year.
It's
the play of the year. And this is one of those things where we cover a lot of football on this show. This is baseball, and this is called
football.
Do you remember the truck stick when it was introduced in Madden?
Yeah.
Like when it was introduced?
Maybe not. I don't know when it was introduced.
2005. Ray Lewis was on the cover. And this is what's called the truck stick. Baseball edition. There was a baseball game that was made by, oh my goodness.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That's more contact than's ever been had at first
Here's the
base.
thing, though. If you're going to do that, you can't get hurt, man.
No. If you're Munson, you got to pop up and go to the dugout.
Yeah, you got your pop-up game.
Well, I guess he was safe.
Joe Burrow makes fun of T. Higgins' pop-up game early in his career. This is what he would do. He would just lay there, and you'd think he's really hurt. Look, if you're going to deliver a blow like that, you better get up. Do you remember, have you heard of the game MLB Slugfest?
Yeah.
This is that. Love MLB Slugfest. I wish they would bring it back. It was a lot of fun on the PlayStation 2. But it was like this super aggressive baseball game. Boom! They should bring it back with the truck stick. I'm in.
I'm in. That sounds like an awesome game. Yeah, I would be thrilled. But this is certainly a wild play. We were watching this upstairs when we were planning the show, going through some of the show stuff this morning, and we were like, we got to put this in while you slept. So I don't think there's a play I've ever seen that's like that at first base. You see close plays at first, the first baseman running up to the base 5-6 times a day in the MLB, and I don't think there's ever been that much contact on a play like that. It even looked like Muncy took a little bit of a step to the left to get into the guy's chest. So, I mean, that was just wild.
Geno Stone could never, ever, ever deliver a hit like that. And yet, that happened. Look, that's wild, but that's going to do it for While You Slept. There's plenty of time to talk Bengals. We have Bengals ahead. A special guest at 10. Up next, we're going to talk baseball. That Reds team, it's a big weekend ahead. We'll talk Reds next, right here on First Word.
Cincinnati, home to more than a dozen Fortune 500 companies. A city where you know someone who knows someone, and you're in business. Every weekday at noon, The Working Lunch brings you headlines from local businesses, along with exclusive interviews with owners and local leaders. East Side, West Side, northern suburbs, downtown, over the Rhine, and northern Kentucky. Real conversations, real Cincinnati. The Working Lunch with Jack Crumley. Weekdays at noon, only on The Crown.
It's time for another Tissot's Take here on First Word, and Sal Stewart. What a joy it's been to watch him for the Cincinnati Reds in his first full season with the big league club. Such a young player playing a new position at first base. Stewart played 203 games at third base through the Reds minor league system, just 2 at first, and he has been a star over there so far this year. After his historic April, he's been at the front of the NL Rookie of the Year race, battling against other young stars in the National League Central. Moises Ballesteros with the Cubs, Connor Griffin with the Pirates, J.J. Weatherholt with the Cardinals, some of the most exciting young players in all of baseball playing in the National League Central, and Sal Stewart right there at the top. First base, he's been great, but also a serviceable second baseman and third baseman, and hitting phenomenally from the plate. A real threat anywhere he is on the diamond, and someone no pitcher wants to face in the box. Very lucky to have someone this professional at such a young age. You're watching First Word, part of the Crown Network, from 7 to 11 every weekday morning.
Hello, my name is Natalie Jones, and welcome to the Nat Jones Show. After retiring from my 10-year radio career here in Cincinnati, I caught the bug, and I'm happy to bring it here to the Crown. I love captivating people who have captivating stories to tell. And the thing about it is, everybody has a story to tell. All you got to do is empower them to do so. That is exactly what I'm doing here. Because life is better when we all stay curious and we all stay connected.
I'm James Rapien, and this is your First Word Bengals Minute. Joe Burrow is undoubtedly one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. We know that. He knows that. But can he be the best? Well, earlier this offseason, he said he wanted to throw for 48 touchdowns, that it was doable. If he hits that mark, it would give him 205 in his career, which would be #1 all-time, passing Andy Dalton in Bengals history. And that mark is one thing, but becoming the best on the planet is another. And Joe Burrow, for my money, has the chance, has the potential, has the ability to be the best quarterback on the planet, and it's up to him to show it this year. Is 48 touchdowns doable? Absolutely. How about the NFL all-time single-season record at 55 that Peyton Manning set way back in 2013? Joey B, let's see you get that done. For more on the Bengals, make sure you check out First Word every single weekday, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown.
Word rolls on a Friday. It is launch week. And if you're just joining us, we are Cincinnati's morning sports show every single weekday, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown. And you can find us in a bunch of places, whether it's on YouTube, all you have to do is check us out. First Word Cincy, we're over 4,000 of you have already hit that subscribe button. And this is just day 5. Over 4,000 of you have subscribed. You can watch live every single weekday on Spectrum, Altifiber, or digitally on RESN. And of course, find all of our shows streaming on Mixlr, whether it's The Working Lunch or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, etc. There you go. Also check out the CincyCrown.com as well. But man, oh man, over 4,000 subs on YouTube. We'll jump into the chat. I'm in the chat. I've been trying to stay in the chat, just so you know. Mixlr, if you're listening on Mixlr, I'm going to get in the chat in a minute here, so don't worry about that. We're about to do that, man. We're about to do that chat.
Let's do that chat.
Let's do that chat when it comes to the Cincinnati Reds. The chatter is, well, should they be buyers? Should they be sellers? What are they going to do? Are they going to stand pat? That was a poll question earlier this week. Well, Jeff Passan got the memo, and he did some digging. And at 31 in 30, Jeff Passan predicts that the Reds will be sellers at the trade deadline. And here's what he wrote. Objective, stop living at 500 and play like a playoff team. If they were to unload someone, it would be Brock Burke, who pitched well earlier this week. And if they were to get someone, it could be Taylor Ward, the outfielder, to give them some outfield help, which I think everybody would agree with. You buying this? You buying that the Reds could be sellers, will be sellers at the deadline?
I certainly think it's an option, and they're headed that direction, but this has to be the 4th, maybe 5th year in a row that the Reds' ideal trade deadline target's listed as Taylor Ward. So nice to see that keep coming around. First it was when he was with the Angels, now on an expiring deal with the Orioles. He's a free agent this offseason, so expect more conversation when he hits the market this offseason. But the first thing I thought of with this was, if the Reds are going to unload someone at the deadline and it's a relief pitcher, what does the second half of this season look like for Reds fans in the bullpen? What a miserable version of a baseball team to watch if you're going to trade the few arms in the bullpen right now that there's even some level of confidence in when they come out of those bullpen doors. I mean, this bullpen has been falling off the face of the earth for the last month or so, and you don't have enough arms to even pitch close games back-to-back days. You have 3 guys that go 1 inning of shutout baseball the day before, and then you're stuck with Tony Santillan with an 18 9th inning ERA to close a game or try to win a game in the next day. So the Reds need to hold on to every bullpen arm they can get and then look to add, even if they aren't necessarily in contention. It changes the level of arm you can add, but I think building something for the future with the young players on this team, you got to stay at least relatively competitive. And if every single time you go to the bullpen in a close game, they're going to blow it, that's not teaching these guys anything about winning baseball. So I do not think, even if the Reds do fail through these summer months leading up to the trade deadline, that they should trade away a lot of pieces in this bullpen, or any pieces really in this bullpen. I just don't think that's a good way to do it.
I think it's interesting, and here's why. Buster Olney reported that bullpen arms are hard to come by.
Yeah.
Can you get someone to, hey, we really need a guy, we're going to overpay. Can you do that? That's the only option, right?
Yeah.
If someone gets desperate enough and you have someone that, a bullpen arm, a reliever that is going to help another team, or that another team really, really wants, and you're looking at it. What if Santillan? What? Come on, man. Brian Giesenthal sat in your chair yesterday and said, hey, he was really good. First 13 outings.
He was.
If it's hard to find these guys, that's what teams are going to be discussing, because it's better to have another option than to not have another option.
No, you're right.
So, like, from that perspective, I'm open to it. But to your point, they stink already in the bullpen. Can you really stink more if you're going to try to compete at all? Yeah. And if you do give up one of these guys, is it really punting? Is it not Ryan Rico punting? Like, bad punt. I wasn't going to name it. I don't want to. Why am I? Just punting when you on a season that you were supposed to win 85 games. I think really optimistic fans said 90. I think pessimistic said 81. But above 500, for sure. 500 or better. Even those that were down on the Reds expected that. So that's what I think is tough. It's that balance. It's that juggle. And there's still time. But I'm always of the belief, how can I add? How can I fix this? How can I make this work? How can I, what what can I do to make it? And there are some years where it's like it can't work. And maybe this is that year. We still have time to figure that out, and I think the Reds are analyzing it. But I think you should always be of the aggressive mindset when you feel like you have a chance to win. The Reds felt that way 3 months ago.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, they've dealt with some injuries, but if they can tread water, like Nick Carl said earlier this week, should they be buyers? They should still be thinking that mindset. I would not say or be saying, oh, well, we're definitely going to be sellers, or be thinking the opposite way. Hey, let's sell off some of our time. I would not be thinking that on June 5th.
Where the frustration, I think, comes in for a lot of Reds fans is that small market teams, you can't just add all the time. You can't just add in free agency and the trade deadline and all that. I get that with the constraints of the budget. But when you have an Ellie De La Cruz, when you have a Hunter Green, when you have a Chase Burns, all on rookie contracts, that's when these teams add. That's when these teams go supplement their young guys and put some talent around them and give them a chance to win. When you have these superstar players on rookie contracts, you're getting a bargain in Ellie De La Cruz. They extended Hunter Green, still one of the best contracts in baseball. Chase Burns just started his rookie contract, and he's in the Cy Young favorites right now. So you have to supplement these players when you have exciting young guys, and that's the thing with the Reds right now, is they continue to try to rebuild, but when they get that core here, when those players arrive that they've been saying the whole time they're going to put pieces around, those pieces never really come. A one-year contract for Eugenio Suarez is not addressing the lineup. You got lucky with J.J. Bleday and Nathaniel Lowe turning into the players they've been so far this year to make the lineup look at least a little bit competent. But the Reds have not done what they needed to do once they get through the rebuild. You trade a Luis Castillo for a Noelvi Marte and an Edwin Arroyo, because by the time those two guys come up, you say, okay, we're going to give money to this roster and supplement it with some great players. But the Reds never turn that page and take that next step. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes in, because if they do sell at this trade deadline, what are they selling for? If those prospects come up in 3 or 4 years, are they just not going to spend money again? Is it going to be hoping that those young guys can become MVPs and Cy Youngs themselves and drive the team to the playoffs with really no help around them? I don't know, but it doesn't seem like a winning proposition, and it seems like they're going down the same path that they've went down 2 or 3 times already in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's it, is the juggle, the balance, and the willingness to go, to push, to go for it. And I know for years, just to tie it to the Bengals, obviously I've covered the Bengals much closer over the past few years, they've thought, we want to keep this window open. We want to be sustainable. Well, none of that matters if you're not winning. And it's really, really hard to win. In that sustainable mindset, I think came back to bite them in the butt. Whether it's how they drafted, the prospects they drafted, their approach to free agency, all of those things. Now this offseason, they've made up for it in a lot of ways, at least on paper. That's why I would always be of the aggressive mindset. I would always have the gas pedal down. I would always have that. It would not shock anyone that's familiar with my mindset in general. It definitely doesn't shock you that I would say, that's it. Because what are you doing it for?
Yeah.
There's one reason. We're not doing this show to be 7th. No, you're doing it to be number 1. And if you're the Reds, you're doing it to be 1. And if you're the Bengals, you're doing it to be 1. And so, yeah, is it hard to compete with the Dodgers? For sure. Don't need more cats. You need more dogs. So you always got to be on the hunt for more dogs.
Absolutely. If you're a team like the Reds, so cash-strapped a lot of the time,
Cash-strapped.
Instead of spreading it out and spending a few $1 million
3-2-1 needs to be 4-3-2 then.
It does. No, bump it up. I'm all for it. But yeah, I'll pay a couple extra dollars for a beer for a first baseman or something.
Reds NIL. He's ready.
I'm in. I've never been more in. But yeah, I think the thing with the Reds is I would almost say pool your money. It's wait until you have these star players, then unload it and go get the players. That's why I was so upset about the Schwarber deal and the details that came down this offseason. Because when is a better time than this year to add a player like Kyle Schwarber to this Reds team? And you were on the doorstep of getting a deal done and weren't comfortable taking that next step. And I just can't wrap my head around the scared nature of the front office to take a big swing.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, they did take a big swing. Brian Hayes. No,
swing and a miss.
Schwarber.
Just like a Brian Hayes.
There you go. Schwarber should be a Red.
Yeah. He wanted to be a Red. The Phillies thought he was going to be a Red.
Yep. 150
the Reds
million.
thought he was going to be a Red.
Do it. Just give him the 150. I think. And the problem is they would have done that and then they would have sold other pieces.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have been the mindset at all. It should have been do that and get Suarez and keep the pieces and have more margin for error when you lose Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo and you have the injuries that you've had. We're going to dive into Rhett Lauder, who's set to make his return on Sunday from the injured list. We'll do that in next hour. But up next, it's time for the poll question of the day. It's a fired up Friday. We have a special guest coming at 10 live in studio, and he's a big guy. We'll get to that and much, much more coming your way on First Word.
The Crown has you covered. Start your day with the First Word, Cincinnati's only morning sports show. Power through midday with the Working Lunch. Cincinnati business talk that keeps you in the know. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And the Rebound Rundown covers every corner of the college basketball scene in the tri-state and beyond. This is The Crown. Built for Cincinnati. First Word for your morning sports. The Working Lunch for business that hits home. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And Rebound Rundown for college hoops. This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe. Hi, my name is Natalie Jones. Just your typical 40-year-old Cincinnati girl. Although, no, I'm not married or divorced. I don't have any kids, and I don't live in the neighborhood I grew up in, which is the West Side, by the way. But what I do have is a lot of freaking time, and I've been using it well. So come along with me on this grand adventure, because I've been trying all the new around town that you need to know about. This is Nat Tries That.
Paul Fritchner back here for another Rebound Rundown local update, this time for the Xavier Musketeers under second-year head coach Richard Pitino, turning over some of the roster, but not quite as much as last year in his first season when he basically had to put together an entirely new team. He brings back some faces from this past year's team. Jovan Milicevic, the only one who played. Gabe Pizzato, expected to be a key player on this upcoming season's team. He had a torn meniscus. Kason Westphal redshirted as well. Jovan Milicevic, a really crucial star player for Xavier, is back. And then they add a couple of SEC starters in Mike Nwoko, the starting center from LSU, Ruben Dominguez, a sharpshooter from Texas A&M, plus Chance Westry, a point guard from UAB, True Washington, who played for Richard Pitino at New Mexico, then went to Miami, Florida. He is back playing for Richard Pitino, a really talented two-way player. A lot of pieces to be excited about on this Xavier team, and you can stay tuned for all of that and more right here on the Rebound Rundown.
My name is Jack Crumley. I've been covering news in Cincinnati on the radio for the last 20 years. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, but Cincinnati has always felt like home since day one. I've seen so many things accomplished here, and now, with the Working Lunch, I get to write, read, and talk about them every day. Hard-working people with a drive and a dream. Innovative ideas that help shape this city. Cincinnati is a great city, and I'm excited to tell you about it every day.
First Word rolls on. Happy launch week. I'm James Rapien. He's Jacob Tissot. Marisa Contipelli will join us at some point after vacation. Big launch week. Good job, Marisa. Give her a hand, everybody. What, man? It's Friday. I can't. Come on.
I thought you were just going to leave it and join us eventually, and then at least you said after vacation.
She'll join us at some point. TBD, BD,
Monday. Maybe.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know about Monday. TBD.
I wonder how the shoulder shrug sounds for the podcast listeners. I'm sure they liked that.
It's just called a gap. That's all. Yeah. What do you mean? We shrugged at each other when we said Monday. There you go, for the audio only.
Just helping our audio audience.
And those listening live on Mixlr, shameless plug there. Let's dive into today's poll question, which we do a poll question every single day on X or on our socials, at First Word Cincy on Instagram, on X. If you're just joining us and you're wondering, we are Cincinnati's morning show, morning sports show, every single weekday, 7 to 11, and it's pretty simple. Is this a must-win series for the Reds this weekend against the Cardinals? They're 31-30. They've dropped 2 of 3 earlier this week to the Royals. They had no business doing that at home. I wonder why I can blame Jacob Tissot for it, and I'm not sure I can, because you can't really explain that, because you should never lose 2 of 3 to the Royals ever if you're the Cincinnati Reds. And yet, that's the predicament they're in, and they start a 3-game set against the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. Here's what the voting looked like. 59.5% of you say yes, it's a must-win series. 13.5% say no, it's June. 27%, this is where I thought that it would be, was no, but you must avoid a sweep. I thought that's where the majority would be, Jacob. It's not. Yes, it's a must-win series. So if they win the series, let's say they take 2 out of 3, we're talking about gathering together Monday, whether or not Marisa shows up with a 33-31 Reds team.
Yeah.
If they split, they're smack dab 500, or if they drop 2 of 3, but they at least avoid the sweep,
right,
they're smack dab 500. What is this for you? Is this a must-win series?
It's a must avoid the sweep. I'm taking that last option for me. And the only reason I'm going that way is because the sweep would drop the Reds below 500. And my question to the people saying it's a must-win series is, if the Reds then win this series against the Cardinals, is the Padres series a must-win series? Is the Diamondbacks series a must-win series? Is it just must-win series from June all the way on through the rest of the season? And maybe that's the answer. Maybe the answer is yes, but that's not feasible to say for the Reds. So it's still too early for me to say that it's a must-win series, but I do think if the Reds get swept after how gut-wrenching that series loss to the Royals was in Great American Ballpark, that could really snowball through what we've already talked about as a very, very tough month of June.
They're 6.5 back right now. You could really convince me it's a must-win series. And I get the long game, and we had Brian Giesenslaw on the entire conversation on our YouTube page. I get it. It is a long season. But it really feels like, and the pressure's really been on since the start of May. For the past month plus, it's just been man, working uphill after that great April, that great start in March and April where they're 20-11. Since then, it's just been a nightmare. And whether it's injuries, whether it's the way they lost some of those games on that road trip, or where they're at now, if you drop 2 of 3 to the Cardinals, are you 8 back? Are you 8.5 back? Is this what we're talking about now?
We're looking at 2 different numbers. I've punted on the Central. The Reds aren't winning the Central. They're 1.5 back of the wild card. They're still very much in the race.
All right. This is what happens. You cannot look at the wild card right now.
You've been looking at the wild card all year, James.
No, you cannot look at the wild card right now. That is not. So when I look up standings, I don't even look at the wild card.
My default is set to wild card.
Unbelievably bad. Literally, I have NL Central standings bookmarked, and that's it. Every day, bam, bam, bam.
I have the wild card pulled up.
So this is the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
The standards are different.
Yeah.
And the standard needs to be, and maybe we just solved it. If you're thinking wild card and hope for a wild card, well, then it's not a must-win series, and they're going to be in the mix. If you're thinking they need to stay in the mix in the Central, which should be their goal, which ties into my buyers being aggressive line, probably need to take 2 of 3 and show you can actually win some games in the NL Central division. That is the best division in baseball.
That's as much a piece of it as anything else, and where it is on the calendar or the fact they lost to the Royals. This Reds team can't win in the division. At some point, you have to beat your biggest rivals.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals are certainly towards the top of that list. The Reds have to take advantage and at least look competitive this weekend in St. Louis, or it's going to be a really tough pill to swallow because you got to play these teams so often throughout the season. And if you can just never convince yourself as a Reds fan that they're going to be able to win a game against a divisional opponent, it's a very, very hard summer to get through.
Yeah, it is. And it could be a tough summer to get through. You know what's not hard to get through? Friday mornings with you right here on First Word. Up next, you're going to hear from Kay Adams, Jeremy Fowler, and Ted Karras on Super Bowl expectations for the Bengals. That's next right here on First Word.
Here with Heather Britt. She is the founder and creator of the Dance Mix Foundation. This is the first inaugural Kids Dance Day. Tell us what you've done.
So we've been in 9 schools over Greater Cincinnati that we have been teaching a dance to over the last 3 weeks. They've practiced and now they're coming together to perform and then see other arts experience. Cincinnati Ballet, Art Museum, Playhouse in the Park. So they're gonna have a great day.
Shoot. Let's go.
You stepped aside with a vibe I ain't never seen. Yes, you did.
This is so cool! This is so much fun!
It would break my heart, break my heart, break my heart if I find out you ain't You better show me now, show me now, show me now. 'Cause when I take it to the floor, you gotta get down. You know what to do. Hey, Mr. DJ.
Oh, you guys are doing a great job. Whoa. Why did you want to start this and do this?
Our mission is health, happiness, connection, but really about arts access as well and inclusion.
Nice job. Nice job. Hey. Hey, your shoelaces are untied. Your shoelaces are untied. You don't know how to tie it? Can I do it? All right, cool. All right, I'll teach you. What's your name? Tayden. Tayden, have you been having fun today? Yeah. Now he's good to go. That was making me so nervous. 1, 2, 3, dance miss! Great job today. Great job today.
This city has always had something to prove. While the rest of the country talked about us, we built our own voice. Blue collar, underdogs, built differently, overlooked, talked about like we were supposed to stay quiet. But that was never who we were, because this city doesn't wait for permission. And neither do we. And now, for the first time, Cincinnati has a network built in its image, because the biggest stories in this city deserve more than highlights. This isn't cable television. This isn't national media. This is ours. This is the Crown.
Some are saying I'm the best backpedaler on the planet. I'm James Rapien, and this is First Word alongside Jacob Tissot. Should I do the Trisket?
Go for it.
Nah, I'm
It's
gonna let it go.
Friday.
I'm gonna let it go. Yeah, but it's only 8.
Fair.
Which means 2 hours from now, well, you're gonna be sliding down, and there's gonna be someone right here, special guest joining us live in studio 2 hours from now, 10 a.m. Eastern time. You know, I can't tease you with it, but I can tease them.
But the teases still work on me. That's the thing.
You're not gonna want to miss it. It involves the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's a big guest. That's what I'll say.
Every time you say it, I get more excited. Yeah. Who's it going to be? I know.
It does work on you.
It
What is
does.
going on? Oh my God! I'll tell you who it's not going to be. Maybe one day it will be Kay Adams, but and she would be a big guest. But I mean, this is a big guest. Anyways, Kay Adams is big on the Bengals this year, and she believes it is Super Bowl or failure. We're going to hear from multiple people over the next few minutes here on the Bengals Super Bowl expectations. We're going to start with Kay, get to Jeremy Fowler, get to Ted Karras. But let's start with Kay Adams and see if we agree with Kay.
This is the year that the Bengals finish the job. I can see, I can feel the eye rolls from the rest of the AFC and the AFC North, of course. This is the year. I was in Cincinnati this weekend for the Joe Burrow Foundation Golf Invitational. I cannot explain how much different and unique this felt to every other trip I've ever taken to Cincinnati. There is a confidence on this team that permeates the city and the fan base that it is time. And then they did this sort of asymmetrical vibe of adding as much as they did, taking the big Dexter Lawrence swing in the offseason. Everyone had something big to say about him, that he got there, he signed, and he has been all over. Having that kind of a player feel motivated at his timeline where he is in his career is so rare to do. Since 2022, he's been double teamed more than any other defensive tackle in the business. He's been double teamed at a higher rate than any D tackle in 10-year history of next-gen stats, which is insane. He ranks 7th in pressures over this 4-year span, 3rd in sacks off double teams, 3rd in the league with 9 turnovers forced by pressure. So he's eating up blockers at a higher clip than anybody. He's eating them for lunch. The defense is going to be so much better. I just feel like it's the year. There's questions about every one of these teams. The question on the Bengals is I guess the defense. How good do they have to be when they have Joe Burrow and T. Higgins, Smiley as ever, and Jamar, and everyone's aligned? They really think they can win. So I'm feeling the way I felt about the Bills last year, which was, you better go win the Super Bowl. If you don't win, it's a failure.
Super Bowl or failure?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really high expectations.
It
And
is.
Kay Adams was in town for the Joe Burrow Foundation golf outing last week. She emceed the after-party dinner. And look, it's interesting that she came here, she visited, she obviously interacted with multiple Bengals players, including Joe Burrow. And her takeaway was, man, they believe, but she currently believes, or certainly believes, after her visit to Cincinnati.
Yeah, when I first saw this clip, and we touched on it a little bit yesterday, I was kind of surprised by these expectations after missing the playoffs 3 years in a row. It just feels like a huge jump to go from not even in the dance to winning the Super Bowl or a failed season. But thought on it a little bit more, and if this is also Joe Burrow's expectation, why is it a crazy expectation? If everyone in the building agrees that this is a Super Bowl or bust in a way type of season, then that should be the expectation. And why should I sit here and try to go somewhere lower than that if the people in the building and the people analyzing the team are saying that the Bengals have Super Bowl aspirations? So I agree that they should be the aspirations. The one that I push back on is maybe that word at the end, the failure, because I think there can be successes in a season that does not end with the Lombardi Trophy. But I think in terms of expectations, they shouldn't be hoping for anything other than a Super Bowl. And obviously, stuff along the way can get you there, but the Super Bowl should be at the top of that list.
It's so tough because if they get close, then it's almost like this is your chance. You better take advantage of it.
That's the thing.
Like if they're good enough to get back to the playoffs and be a real contender and be in let's say they get to the AFC Championship game and then they lose, it's going to feel like a failure.
Yeah, you're right. It's the famous Dan Campbell quote from a couple years ago. This might be our only shot.
And I remember in 21 thinking it feels like it's the beginning.
Yeah.
But man, is it tough. And then they did it again in 22, and I kind of drank the Kool-Aid. This is just who they are.
Yeah.
No. It's hard. It's really, really, really hard. And things have to go right. And you have to have health and all those things. And if you have those things and you're that talented and you're that good, you better take advantage of it. And I think you and me feel like they have enough talent to go on a deep playoff run. Kay Adams certainly feels that way. What about ESPN's Jeremy Fowler? He joined us on yesterday's show. I asked him a bunch of stuff. Jacob asked him a bunch of stuff. This entire interview on our First Word YouTube page. Here's what Fowler had to say when I asked him how the NFL views the Bengals and if they are viewed as a Super Bowl contender. Jeremy Fowler is our guest of ESPN. Jeremy, in NFL circles, are the Bengals viewed as a contender again? They've missed the playoffs 3 straight years. They make this big swing for Dexter Lawrence. Obviously, you mentioned Joe Burrow and the skill guys that they have. Are they viewed that way?
They are viewed as, in a wide open AFC North, a contender. If you can get out of that division and you can just get in the dance, they're viewed as a team still like they were 3 or 4 years ago where anything's possible, right? Like you've seen the games they played against Kansas City when KC was in their prime. And it's one of those things where even when they lost, it felt like they probably should have won or they dropped the ball or a play away from winning. That element there still exists. You know, it's tough though because winning is infectious. And losing is infectious too a little bit. So you can't just assume that year to year you're going to be able to bounce back. But this league is built on parity. If you've had some down years, as long as you are building the roster the right way and have enough personnel, it can flip from 7 wins to 11 wins pretty quickly. I mean, you see that league-wide.
That entire conversation with Jeremy Fowler is on YouTube. Check it out. It's also wherever you get your podcast. And why am I saying that? To let you know, we're on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts as well. Leave us a 5-star review on any podcast platform. Subscribe on YouTube. Look, when Fowler is plugged in as he is, and Kay is obviously as plugged in as she is, and she came from here, I think it's an interesting thing because on one hand, the Bengals are like, hey, we're ready to go. Yeah. And you feel it in the locker room and you feel the vibes and Joe Burrow's saying it and they're all saying it. On the other hand, the NFL is like, they're better. But we'll see. That was what I took from Fowler. He's not going to come on and say, yeah, he's the fringe playoff team. But I don't think the NFL is necessarily as high and saying, man, that's the team to beat, as people in town feel or as Joe Burrow feels.
Well, I think people in town are eager to believe. It's been 3 years since the Bengals have been to the playoffs. They want to be playing late January and February football. It's not too hard to come to that conclusion that Bengals fans just want to get back there. I think everyone outside the 275 loop needs to see it first. The defense has been so bad over the last few years. The additions are great, but they have to play together and they have to click at some point this season. So once it all does, I think all that national media will hop right back on the bandwagon and come to it. But the feeling in the locker room is certainly that the Super Bowl is the goal this season and the one that they're all striving for. And Joe Burrow didn't dance around those comments earlier this year. When Ted Karras joined us in studio earlier this week, we asked him about Joe Burrow's comments.
Joe makes the comment, and I read it. I was in the room, but I read it, and I was like, he didn't say that. And I was in the room when he said it, but he's like, we're going to go out there and win a Super Bowl this year. And he just said it so nonchalant. I was like, no, he said go out and try to win a Super Bowl. And then I went back and, no, he said go out and win a Super Bowl. When you see that from QB1 in May, and it was May at the time, what goes through your mind? What tone does that set for the rest of the team and organization?
I think that's a great goal, and it's always our goal. But there's a lot of football to be played until then. So I don't concern myself with February 27 right now. We got Dexter again tomorrow, and there's a lot of work to be done. I think we're on the right track. I'm not a prediction guy. I'm an internal goals guy. I'll throw out. I'll throw out Super Bowl when it's appropriate. But as of June 2nd, right now, I am going to just continue to do my job to the best of my ability.
What internal goals?
Well, always it's win the division. And so we started 2-0 last year, and then obviously all that happened with Joe, and so that was kind of we got that monkey off our back, but then, had a whole new set of issues. So, for the last couple of years, it's just let's start strong. So, to me, it starts with winning the division. You got to win your division. That's always the first goal. And then as we get going, Super Bowl is always the goal, overarching. as you know, we don't talk about that much internally. It did fire everyone up that Joe said that, and I love that. But we have a lot of things to work on before we're going to be touting Super Bowl after we missed the dance 3 years in a row.
Do you think that's by design for him?
Oh yeah.
Like he knew, he was like, oh, I'm going to do that.
Oh, he does a great job with all. He's a very calculated man.
No, that's what I figured.
Yeah. No, and we are all going for a Super Bowl, but there's a lot of work to be done to make that happen. It's not just we're talented on paper, and that's why we've had these last 2 OTAs have been, some of the best I've been a part of as a Cincinnati Bengal.
I think Ted Karras, when he got here, he was like, and shout out to Ted for joining us in studio. Another big guest coming your way at 10 a.m. I'm just plugging everything today. When Ted Karras got here in 2022, it was obviously Super Bowl or bust. They had just gone to the Super Bowl. They go out and they get Alex Kappa. They get Ted Karras. It feels like they fortified their offensive line. Then they go get Lyle Collins. And they were really darn good. They had won 10 straight. And I think if I would have told him, and I remember talking to him in the Kansas City locker room after they lost in the AFC Championship game. And he has rings, of course. But I think they thought they were going to win a ring that year. If I would have told him, Jacob, like, hey, this is it. You're not going to make the playoffs for the next 3 years. I think he would have laughed at me.
I think most people would have.
And that's where they're at. And that's why I think he's tempered things, because there's been times over this 3-year run where I think he thought, we're going to be so good. And then Burrow has the calf and then the wrist. 2024, they signed Geno Stone to fix the defense, and that doesn't work. And it's not just Geno, but I'm going to beat up Geno for it because, let's be honest, he didn't tackle. 25, Joe gets hurt. Like, it's been a rough 3 years. And so 24 and 27 over the past 3 seasons, Ted Karras tempered expectations. I like that. I also like that the leader's like, no, this is us. This is who we are. We are that team. We're going to go do it now. And so it's a nice balance. It's a nice blend to have one of your leaders like Ted. And I think he's like that. I think it was a very honest thing. Hey, we got to put in the work now. We can do it, and that's our goal, but it's June. I like that from Ted.
Absolutely. And I think at this point in the season, everyone that you expect to do their job has done their job. At this point, it's all about the additions and turning over the roster. And the Bengals front office did a really, really good job of that this offseason. And I think the really fun thing now is the players know that it's on them. They have all the talent they need in the roster. The defense is up to where it needs to be. And now they have to go perform. And I love that Ted said the main goal is winning the division, because that's how I always view it too, especially in the North, where the way these rivalries work and the way these contentions, the contenders are in this division, you have to win the North in order to have a real faith that you can win a Super Bowl. Now, obviously, wild card teams can make runs, but something about winning the division just feels different, especially in the AFC North. And I love that he said that first, because obviously if the Bengals win the North, they're in the playoffs playing a home game here, and that sets them up very well for a Super Bowl run. So check off all the boxes as the series progresses. Obviously, the first box, OTAs, everyone's here, reported, working together, which is a great, great sign to see. Get through training camp, check all those boxes, work through the list, and then hopefully that last box of holding the Lombardi Trophy, check it off in February.
Yep. It's a process. We'll see what the Bengals can do. Obviously, we're going to have you covered every step of the way. Plenty of Bengals coming your way. A special guest live in studio at 10. Rhett Lauder coming up as far as what's going on with him. How is he going to perform coming up in 20 minutes? But up next, While You Slept, here on First Word.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones, just your typical 40-year-old Cincinnati girl. Although, no, I'm not married or divorced. I don't have any kids, and I don't live in the neighborhood I grew up in, which is the West Side, by the way. But what I do have is a lot of freaking time, and I've been using it well. So come along with me on this grand adventure, because I've been trying all the new around town that you need to know about. This is Nat Tries That.
It's time for another Tissot's Take here on First Word. The Reds can't compete at the top of the free agent market in the offseason, but where they can find success and did this year was in the bargain bin. Adding J.J. Bleday, a cast-off former top 5 pick who had never reached that potential so far in his MLB career, and Nathaniel Lowe, a 30-plus-year-old first baseman who's been on the downturn the last couple years. Lowe, a former Gold Glove winner in 2023 with the World Series champion Texas Rangers, and Bleday, a former Golden Spikes winner, the college baseball Heisman at Vanderbilt in his college years. Both hadn't quite played their best baseball over the last few years, but are so far this year with the Reds. Lowe is giving a solid option at first base opposite Sal Stewart, while also destroying right-handed pitching in the batter's box. One of the Reds' best bats against right-handed pitchers so far this year. And Bleday, what a surprise he has been in the outfield. One of the best outfielders in baseball. Thanks for watching First Word. We'll be with you till 11.
I'm James Rapien, and this is your First Word Bengals Minute. It's no secret that my expectations for Joe Burrow are high. Well, part of that is because my expectations for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins just as high. This is the best wide receiver duo in the NFL right now. And don't look now, but they easily could go down as the best duo in Bengals history. And I think about what their stats could look like this year. Is 3,000 combined receiving yards out of the question? It shouldn't be. I think that's a realistic number. I think 30 touchdowns combined is also a realistic number. And that's the beauty of having Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase, with T. Higgins. You're going to be feared. Oh, and with the new and improved defense, the Bengals should have the ball more. They should be able to take shots downfield more, which should lead to more opportunities for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to continue to be the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. For more, make sure you check out First Word every weekday, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown. My name is James Rapien, and I host First Word every weekday morning, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown. Prior to joining The Crown Network, I covered the Bengals for Sports Illustrated for 6 seasons. I also am the founder of Cincinnati Bengals Talk on YouTube and wrote the book, Enter the Jungle, A History of the Cincinnati Bengals. Couldn't be more excited to join you every weekday morning for First Word, right here on The Crown. Fired Up Friday rolls on. I'm James Rapien alongside Jacob Tissot, and this is First Word. We are Cincinnati's morning sports show every single weekday, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown. It is, how you say, launch week. I don't want to yell too loud. It's early. Launch week. It is launch week here. And we're really excited. And before we dive into While You Slept and all of the goodies that we have, and we have his St. Xavier Bombers, we have plenty of baseball, even though the Reds were off, and a lot of fun stuff to get to, including why T. Higgins is the best value maybe in sports right now. But before that, we have to say thank you, everybody that tweeted, everybody that's reached out on social. Rick Broering wrote an awesome social post article about the show and about the blueprint, all these things. I just want to say thank you. And our guy Sam Chavez put together an awesome edit of all of the reaction and everything like that when we announced First Word. And we announced it 8 days ago. That was our announcement date. But obviously this is our first week on the air. Let's roll this awesome highlight courtesy of Sam. I'm happy to announce that Cincinnati finally has a morning sports show, and it's one that you can watch right here on YouTube called First Word. I love it. Shout out to Sam. Again, this is sweet. I love how he highlighted a bunch of the tweets, all of the reaction that we've had. I mean, you're talking about millions
of people in impressions all over social media have made first word or talked about first word or mentioned the crown and first word, and so we're appreciative.
Yeah, absolutely. The response last week for the announcement was unbelievable, and it's rolled all the way through this week. Thank you to everyone watching on The Rock or in the YouTube chat every day, voting on the polls on Twitter, checking out the clips or the interviews on YouTube. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to keep rolling all the way through the summer, all the way through football season, and for years to come.
Yeah, for sure. And so let's dive into everything you missed while you slept, and it starts with this contract that a wide receiver, of course we're starting with wide receivers. You're going to give me the keys to while you slept. We're going to start with wide receivers. Christian Watson enjoying his money, man. I mean, the Green Bay Packers signing Christian Watson to a whopping contract extension that makes, I got to be honest, Jacob, makes T. Higgins a value. It makes a lot of these guys a value. Yeah. ESPN's Adam Schefter was the first to report this. Look at this. 4 years, $110.5 million. $31 million signing bonus. I thought it said $31 million guaranteed. $31 million signing bonus. I like Watson's talent. This feels like a lot, just shy of $30 million per year.
It was shocking for me to see this, especially with them extending Jaden Reed not too long ago as well. A lot of money in a receiving room that I think is still looking for a wide receiver one. Maybe the belief, clearly, with the extension to Christian Watson, the belief is that he can be that guy. But my question would be, can he play enough games to be that guy? The question with Christian Watson his entire career has been the health and the concerns with the injuries. When he's on the field, he's really, really good, but he's just hasn't been on the field much. So maybe they get a steal in a way here with Christian Watson if he can stay healthy through this contract, stay on the field, play more than he has through his rookie deal. But that was my first thought as well when this came across was, wow, T. Higgins, what a steal he is in this world. Because there's no debate about where he ranks in the world. It's just whether or not he's a top 10 or top 15 receiver, basically, in the grand scheme of things. And he's certainly paid well below his skill level.
Yeah, this is why you pay. This is why you get ahead. DJ Turner, get ready because you should be paid next. And guess what we'll be saying a year from now? Man, did you see what that corner got? He's not better than DJ Turner. Man, did you see who? That's usually what happens with these guys. Yeah. And if you get it right, and I think, honestly, DJ Turner is a better corner than Christian Watson is a receiver.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
I
don't think that's really that particularly close.
And that's what's so interesting about this deal. Clearly, the Packers see something in Watson that we don't see yet.
Yeah.
With T, we saw big, strong, physical, had some injuries, but big, strong, physical, can make plays. Maybe they're like, look, if he gets that hamstring right, much like T, he can have 21 touchdowns in 2 years because that's what T. Higgins has over the past couple of years. T. Higgins, one of the best values in sports. All right, full disclosure, my guy next to me is a St. Xavier Bomber. What class, 2018?
2020.
Dude.
Trying to age me a little bit over here.
Oh my God.
2020.
Anyways, Jacob's former classmates won on the baseball field yesterday, advanced to the Final Four at state.
That's right.
I love this, and I love that Joe Danneman was there to capture it, but look at that.
You see it right there. First regional title since 2003. What a run for this Bombers team, getting back to the state Final Four. And this was the regional championship last night, but 2 nights ago, St. X no-hit Elder on the way to the regional final. So it's been an unbelievable run for these Bombers. Not something they're going to forget anytime soon. Headed to face Olentangy Orange in the Final Four. Muller also in the Final Four will face Perrysburg. So great for the GCL South putting on for baseball in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, love it. I love seeing 2 teams in the GCL South representing and state title on the line.
I hope so.
That's I would love it. If you could get that far, then it's like, all right. For me, it would be like, all right, you can't lose. Because it's this area. Like, if you can win a state title in this area, I'm going to be all about it. So go Big Mo. Go St. X. I know that pains you.
I'll do the Go St. X.
That blue looks good, by the way.
It does.
That blue on the graphic game looks good.
We're going to need some more St. X graphics if they're going to look that good.
I mean, I know. I'm just thinking, like, I want first word merch with that blue on it.
For sure.
Yeah, that looks really darn good here. All right, let's keep it rolling here. The NBA Finals in full swing and banned.
Yeah.
Banned. I don't know what it's like being banned. I've never been banned from anything in my life. But Charles Oakley, otherwise, has been banned from MSG. And despite Michael Jordan, despite Adam Silver, Despite multiple people higher ups in the NBA, it doesn't matter. Charles Oakley still banned from MSG, will not be there at Game 3 or Game 4. Not a fan of this, and this is like the James Dolan ego element. This is also what happens when you burn bridges. And I'm not saying it's Oakley's fault that the bridge is burnt, but when bridges get burnt, sometimes it's hard to rebuild them, and this is an example.
Absolutely. It's certainly a shame that the Knicks are back in the finals, and one of the most iconic courtside Knicks fans is not going to be there in Charles Oakley's. So certainly a shame, but kudos to Silver and Michael Jordan for trying to get this mended and get him there in MSG for these games. Obviously, it would be a big moment to have him back on courtside for these games, but not going to happen. And I mean, I'm sure Dolan just taking the chance to get this back out in the news.
See, if I'm Dolan, and he's handled this about as poor as you can. Just ridiculously. PR dumb.
He
right?
handles almost everything about as poor as you can.
He stayed out of things. So he's handling it well now. He's running the Knicks well by just not doing it and worried about the pyramid, or the sphere, excuse me. The pyramid. The sphere in Vegas.
The sphere saved the Knicks.
Can you imagine? This is the level of petty, though, like if you're Dolan. Invite him backstage at the sphere. Like, do that. You can't come to MSG, but you could come to the sphere and that would be the petty thing to do.
That would be pretty fun.
You know what I would do, though? Is just let him back, man. He's Knicks legend.
I bet Dolan banned him from the sphere, too.
Well, yeah. I know. Oh, well, sure, but I'm just saying the other way. Yeah, clearly too petty for that. Russell Wilson, Hall of Famer?
I think so. I was thinking about it over the last couple of days, going through some of the numbers. He was so good in Seattle, and some of the counting numbers are getting there. I think so.
Officially retires, joining CBS Sports as an analyst. I wonder how he's going to be as an analyst. He's very cheesy on camera.
Yeah.
And that's coming from me, who just said, fired up Friday, right? Like, I mean, this guy, I do wonder. Now, it's a pregame show, so maybe. But you look at that, and James Brown, awesome. Nate Burleson, awesome. Bill Cowher, been there, done that for the past literally Jacob's whole life. And so I look at Russell Wilson, how is that going to fit? We'll see. I think it's interesting. I think it could be a home run. It may also be grilled cheese sandwiches every single Sunday morning ahead of the game, or Sunday early afternoon on those pregame shows.
No, I'm thinking this is one of the two ends of the spectrum, and no chance it lands anywhere in between. Because I think there's a very realistic chance that Russell Wilson is awesome on TV.
You're big on Russ.
I like Russ. I've always liked Russ.
I'm surprised.
I don't love the social media stuff, but I think Russ is one of the more underrated quarterbacks of my lifetime. So I like to, kind of try to prop him up a little bit when I get the chance. I really do like Russell Wilson, and I think.
So last year when I was like, "Hey, trade for Russell Wilson," you were in.
I was in.
I was
preferred
pushing that
Flacco,
narrative.
but I was in.
I didn't think Flacco would be available to the Bengals. I just
fair, no,
because of the Browns
fair.
connection. So I didn't even really consider that as a realistic possibility. But yeah, once it happened, I was like,
Also,
but yeah,
definitely
Wilson,
one of the other Giants quarterback would have been way more fun.
And the Bengals felt that way too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Wilson would be more available because he's Mr. Unlimited. He's got to get a wireless deal, right? Has he had one yet?
Probably.
Unlimited?
He should. I'm gonna go get a Danger Witch for lunch today.
It's unbelievable. Unlimited, like my range when I play Coop Dog one-on-one. Now let's keep it going here with the funniest baseball play. This is the play of the year.
It's
the play of the year. And this is one of those things where we cover a lot of football on this show. This is baseball, and this is called
almost football.
Do you remember the truck stick when it was introduced in Madden?
Yeah.
Like when it was introduced?
Maybe not.
Nah,
I don't know when it was introduced.
2005. Ray Lewis was on the cover. And this is what's called the truck stick. Baseball edition. There was a baseball game that was made by, oh my goodness.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That's more contact than's ever been had at
Here's the thing, though. If you're going to do that, you can't get hurt, man.
No. If you're Munson, you got to pop up and go to the dugout.
Yeah, you got your pop-up game.
Well, I guess he was safe.
Joe Burrow makes fun of T. Higgins' pop-up game early in his career. This is what he would do. He would just lay there, and you'd think he's really hurt. Look, if you're going to deliver a blow like that, you better get up. Do you remember, have you heard of the game MLB Slugfest?
Yeah.
This is that. Love MLB Slugfest. I wish they would bring it back. It was a lot of fun on the PlayStation 2. But it was like this super aggressive baseball game. Boom. They should bring it back with the truck stick. I'm in.
I'm in. That sounds like an awesome game. Yeah, we'd be thrilled. But this is certainly a wild play. We were watching this upstairs. We were planning the show, going through some of the show stuff this morning, and we were like, we got to put this in while you slept. So I don't think there's a play I've ever seen that's like that at first base. You see close plays at first. The first baseman running up to the base 5-6 times a day in the MLB, and I don't think there's ever been that much contact on a play like that. It even looked like Muncy took a little bit of a step to the left to get into the guy's chest. So, I mean, that was just wild.
Geno Stone could never, ever, ever deliver a hit like that. And yet that happened. Look, it's that's wild, but that's going to do it for While You Slept. There's plenty of time to talk Bengals. We have Bengals ahead. A special guest at 10 up next. We're going to talk baseball. That Reds team, it's a big, big weekend ahead. We'll talk Reds next right here on First Word.
Cincinnati sports fans are the best. Loyal, passionate, second to none. This city lives and breathes sports, and now it finally has a morning show to match. I'm James Rapien, and this is First Word, the only morning sports show in Cincinnati and the place where every day starts. We break down the biggest moments and set the agenda for the city. Marisa Contipelli and Jacob Tissot join me to bring the insight and energy you need to start your day. The conversation starts with First Word. First Word, weekdays 7 to 11, part of the Crown Network. I'm James Rapien, and this is your First Word Bengals Minute. It's no secret that Dexter Lawrence is going to have a major impact on the Bengals defense. Anytime you add a gigantic nose tackle that can get after the passer, guess what? Those are hard to find. Those are rare. He's also going to make life easier on Jonathan Allen, who was a key free agent addition in March. And that's what's interesting. Jonathan Allen is a former Pro Bowler. He was a former first-round pick. He's someone that still can bring the juice and put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And the idea of him alongside B.J. Hill was one thing. The idea of him one-on-one, because Dexter Lawrence is clogging up the interior and commanding double teams, well, that's a whole nother thing. That changes this Bengals defense, and it gives Jonathan Allen a chance to get back to where he was a few years ago when he was wrecking quarterbacks, racking up sacks, and one of the best interior defenders in the game. For more, make sure you check us out First Word every single weekday, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown.
I'm Paul Fritchner. I'm a 2019 graduate of Xavier University, and I've been covering college basketball for 10 years here in the Cincinnati area. I'm the host of the Rebound Rundown, a daily college basketball podcast during the season and a weekly show in the off-season covering everything you need to know about your favorite team. And if you're not a fan of a team here in Cincinnati, I have you covered from the national perspective as well. Follow it on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to another Tissot's Take, and the Reds might just have the best starting rotation in all of Major League Baseball when everyone gets healthy. Chase Burns, so far in his first full season with the big league club, is pitching like an ace, a legitimate Cy Young contender early in his young career, and Hunter Green just waiting in the wings on the IL to be activated at some point this summer. The Reds might join a short list of Major League Baseball teams with multiple aces in the rotation when Green gets back to form. We know he's a perennial Cy Young contender in the National League, and Chase Burns looks like it too. Not even mentioning James Rapien's boy, the number 3 starter in this rotation, All-Star Abbott. An All-Star last year has put together a phenomenal month of May, one of the best pitchers in baseball in the month of May, and that continues throughout the summer. This Reds top 3 is as good as any in baseball. Nick Lodolo sliding in at the 4, Rhett Lauder, the former 7th overall pick, at the 5, not even mentioning Singer Williamson and Petty. You're watching First Word on the Crown Network.
Enjoy that roast. I'm James Rapien, and this is First Word. What? I'm sure you're drinking some coffee somewhere.
I wish.
You didn't have any coffee today?
Upstairs.
There we go. I knew that. Big coffee guy here. He's Jacob Tissot. He has his coffee every day with a side of Triscuits. I'm James Rapien.
If you looked at my desk, they wouldn't know you were kidding.
Correct. I have water in this, but it looks professional versus a water bottle, so I do this because I'm a pro. Pinky's out. You know who else is a pro? Rhett Lauder.
Back.
Rhett Lauder back, pitching for the Reds on Sunday. Might be a pitches limit, but regardless, having Rhett Lauder back, it's huge for this team. I'm going to stop holding this cup now. It's huge for this team.
Yeah.
Because it means either Chris Paddock, and probably Chris Paddock, is out of the rotation. Maybe helps the bullpen some.
Yeah.
Maybe he hangs around. I like the addition of Chris Paddock. I think it's helped in a really tough spot. We've seen the Reds have to do this at times, or the Bengals have to do this at times when they get in dire need midseason and you grab a guy and you hope it works. I think Chris Paddock has worked. I would like to see him hang around, but regardless, Rhett Lauder back in business on Sunday. That's exciting.
Haven't been the biggest Chris Paddock fan since he got here, but certainly need him.
Putting it lightly, I haven't been the biggest Chris. That's putting it very lightly.
But I am also team have him stick around, whether it's in the bullpen or as an extra arm or whatever you can find, because after Chase Burns' last start, Burns mentioned that he's been working with Paddock on that changeup. And one thing that I keep circling back to with Chase Burns is the next step that he can make to truly be a dominant starter in this league for a long time is adding a third pitch. He's a slider fastball guy. If he can get that changeup up to where it needs to be, then I think he can really take that next step in this league. So if Paddock's going to help him do that, that's providing value to this Reds rotation and this Reds team in and of itself. Paddock's changeup last year was a 118 stuff plus, really, really good, and Burns throws it 5 miles an hour harder. So that'd be great, and I think he could definitely play in the bullpen. But adding Lauder back to this rotation is absolutely huge, not just because you're getting closer to the 5 guys you thought you were going to have in the rotation if you're the Reds coaching staff and front office, but people, I think, are forgetting what Rhett Lauder was supposed to be or projected to be after his rookie season and early in this year. It got pretty ugly for the last few starts. His ERA creeping up towards 6, struggling with control, walking a lot of guys before this injury. But Rhett Lauder started his career on fire, was absolutely dominant in his rookie season, and then now this year really pitching well to start the season before unraveling with the injury. So I think Rhett Lauder has as high of a ceiling as a lot of the guys in this Reds rotation. He was picked 7th overall in the draft. He's someone I'm really excited to see pitch every time he's on the mound, even though there's been some hiccups so far in his young career. But I love Rhett Lauder, and I can't wait to see him on the mound on Sunday.
Yeah, if there's a path for this Reds team to be the team that I think a lot of people are still hopeful they can be, which is not just a winning team, but a playoff team.
Yeah.
Rhett Lauder has to be a big part of it. And he has to be a big part of it for a few reasons. One, Chase Burns, at some point, they are going to have to limit his innings. That's just what's going to happen. So there's one. 2, Brady Singer has lost his voice and needs to find a way to start singing again. It's just not, he has not been the innings eater. You're hoping Nick Lodolo is that guy again, and I think so, but we need to see more. Andrew Abbott has been stable, but Hunter Green's out. And so, you need your rotation to be your strength. And the path to that is getting a guy back in Lauder that you were leaning on and would have leaned on a ton. Part of why April was so awesome is because Rhett Lauder was awesome.
Yeah.
He was really, really good. And then things he started to lose command early in games, and then boom, he has this injury. So if he can be a quality starter every 5th day, then you're going to believe in Burns. You're going to believe in Abbott. Probably believe in Lodolo. Coming off the injury, maybe it takes another start, but I think you can believe in Lodolo. And then Lauder. You have 4 of the 5 solidified, and then the 5th is the guy you were expecting to be reliable in Brady Singer and be that innings eater, and so maybe he can turn things around. So when I think of paths to things, and for the Reds, it's playoffs, whether it's wild card, NL Central, whatever, contention for a playoff spot. Rhett Lauder's got to be a big part of it, at least until Hunter Green comes back.
Yeah.
And so Sunday's a big, big day for the Reds.
No question about it. And I think the thing with Rhett Lauder that's exciting is it's not just getting a pitcher back from the IL and putting him back in the rotation. It's getting someone who is going to be a foundation of this rotation for years to come back in the rotation. His first 8 starts of his career, Lauder had the lowest ERA of any Reds pitcher since 1913. He had a 1.30 ERA through his first 8 career starts. That was the 5th lowest mark by any any MLB pitcher through their first 8 career starts since 1961. He started his career hotter than anyone we've seen in a long time. If he can get back to that form, we could consider really be sitting here at the desk later in the summer talking about which of the Reds' 3 or 4 aces are they going to have. I mean, if Abbott's pitching as good as he's been, we've seen it for a stretch from Lauder, Burns, and Green are there.
Did you just
This
say
could
that?
be a 4-ace rotation at some point.
Ace. Wow. All
Is
right.
it that crazy? We've seen it from Abbott for a month at a time. We've seen it from Green when he's healthy. We've seen it from Burns also so far this year. We've seen it from Lauder for a month at a time.
I would say we've seen it for Abbott for a half season.
For sure. We saw it last year, no
That's what
question. I just mean this season.
Yeah. 4 aces.
No teams have that.
And if you do have that, and this is where the Reds thought they were coming into this year, if you have that, you're going to have a chance any day.
Exactly.
And I think that's what they were thinking is, hey, we have 6 starters that we feel over the moon about. Lodolo gets hurt, Green gets hurt. They're like, we can still hold this down. Singer underperforms. And then Lauder gets hurt. Things feel much different, especially when Andrew Abbott was struggling so much in April. Like, I just went through the whole rotation outside of Chase Burns where there's something. There's a question mark or an injury or something. And so I think that's why the Reds view themselves as not buyers or sellers right now. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, shout out to you on the First Word YouTube channel. The latest poll question was, should they buy or sell? 54% of you right now say buy. 46% say sell. I think there are a lot of sellers. I'm not there yet. I definitely can't sell. I always lean toward buying. This season could turn toward a sell. But if Rhett Lauder's Rhett Lauder, Singer starts singing a little bit, and the other guys that I feel like you can bank on now, Nick Lodolo, obviously Chase Burns, he's been their best pitcher, arguably their best player, and Andrew Abbott. If you can bank on those guys, you'll be in position. But that's what makes Sunday so important.
Yes.
Because 40%, over the past couple of weeks, 40% of the time it's been a struggling Brady Singer or Chris Paddock.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really tough ask to do when we know the lineup has limitations, when we know the bullpen is struggling the way it is. It's just a tough thing. So it can still come together, I guess is my point. And I'm not trying to sell you hopium to sell you hopium. I think there's reason for hope, and part of it is Rhett Lauder didn't suffer a serious injury. It was a relatively minor injury, pitched well the other day in AAA Louisville. Now he has a chance to go out there on Sunday and hopefully be in position to give the Reds a series win or a sweep. But regardless, in position on Sunday to reestablish himself as one of the top pitchers in this organization.
And that's the hope. And I think it's just, kind of taking me back a little bit to a month ago when Lodolo came back from the IL. Yeah. It's probably not going to be Lauder's best start, working his way back from the injury. He threw 70 pitches in AAA, looked great. 50 of those 70 were for strikes. He had the control that he's been struggling with on the major league level so far this year. But it's a big step from AAA to the majors, and I think Reds fans have been reminded of that a lot this season in terms of the transition from Louisville to Cincinnati. And Lauder could absolutely go out there and just burn down the Cardinals lineup and have a great start on the mound, and that would be awesome. But I do think tempering expectations a little bit just for the first start of his return should be important, because he's going to have to work back. He's going to have to get up to full speed, and once he does, I think he's going to be a pivotal piece to this Reds rotation and help them make a push throughout the summer. But don't freak out if it's not the best on Sunday. He's going to at least give the Reds a better chance to win than those other options.
Yeah, I think that's it. There's the path. There you look at it. The ERA is ugly because of the final couple starts that he had. Rhett Lauder's a beast, and they need him to be exactly that. Yeah. Hopefully soon. Hopefully it's Sunday.
Yeah.
Regardless, getting him back is huge for the Reds. We'll continue the Reds conversation with our poll question. And coming up at 9, we'll dive back into the Bengals, and we have a special guest coming your way at 10 in studio live. It is a fired up Friday. We're just getting started on First Word.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones, and I'm the May Queen here at Braxton's May Fest. This is the 3rd year in a row I've been the May Queen, and actually the 3rd year since they brought it back after maybe a decade hiatus. What Mayfest is, it's pretty much the Oktoberfest of the springtime, to put it in layman's terms. So Mayfest opens the summer season, and Oktoberfest ends the summer season. So here we are, just Bavarian stuff all day long. I already had a beer and a pretzel. I'm about to get a sausage. So I started making flower crowns. I think 10 years ago for fun, maybe for the Kentucky Derby, and now I make them all the time. I made this one. Me and my bestie made it. I change it every year. I expand on it or change it every year, the colors. What colors do you think I should put on my baton here I'm gonna make? Excellent. I was thinking the same exact thing. When do you feel the most beautiful? Tomorrow. Huh? Tomorrow? Did you yesterday? No? Well, I think you're gorgeous. Even without the crown. You're always beautiful in my eyes. A raspberry cake?
I kind of liked it. I
Kinda.
kind of.
Did your dad like it?
He didn't eat any.
You didn't eat any of it?
Because I gave
No
him a
carbs,
little-
huh? He's in a low carb diet. What I like to do is take the flour like this and wrap it around the main vine. Okay? There you go. You're welcome. I'm not gonna lie, as someone who got a D in art class when I was a kid, turned out all right. High five, girlfriend. It matches all the colors in your dress. Hopefully we do this every year at Mayfest because you can never queen enough, I tell you what. All righty, everybody say queen. All right, girls, are we ready for this? Yeah. All right, let's go.
Another rebound rundown, local update, and a huge one here for the Louisville Cardinals, who have spent a ton of money in the transfer portal. They have poured a ton of resources, and this is expected to be a national championship contender, or at least a Final Four contender. It better be with what they have done to assemble this roster. Let's take a look at it now. A coup of players out of the portal. Two of the portal's best, and Flory Badunga, the transfer from Kansas, and Jackson Shellstead, the point guard transfer from Oregon. You add that, somebody you've heard on the rundown before, Deshane Montgomery from Dayton, Alvaro Figueres, a high major transfer as well, Carter Knox, Gabe Dines, all names that if you are a college basketball fan, you are familiar with, plus Okeze, who is one of the best high school players, if not the best, depending on where you look, for high school rankings, best high school recruits in the history of the Louisville program. A lot to be excited about, a lot of expectations for the Louisville Cardinals. You can hear about that more right here on the Rebound Rundown.
Happy Friday and welcome in. I'm James Rapien. He's Jacob Tissot. Marisa Contipelli has her feet up on vacation. Apparently she went to a baseball game yesterday. Will she show up for work on Monday? I don't know. We'll see. Regardless, we're going to be with you every single weekday, 7 to 11, always open right here on First Word. And that's where you can find us on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network every single weekday live. Also live on YouTube. Listen live on Mixler. We are live on X every single day. Check out our Facebook as well, where a lot of stuff's going to go up, including Spotify, Apple, iHeart, our podcast links to all of our interviews. And, of course, there's the whole network if you're looking for the rest of the Crown Network. The Working Lunch every single weekday, noon to 1 here on the Crown, the Nat Jones Show, and Rebound Rundown. Run down that rebound.
Put that in your rundown and rebound it.
With Paul Fritchner.
That's right.
Yeah, Paul Fritchner certainly going to join
Best
us
in the biz.
at some point to talk that basketball, but it's time to talk that baseball. And that's the subject of today's poll question. The Reds are 31-30 on the year. Is this series against the Cardinals, the next 3 games, is it a must-win series for the Cincinnati Reds? We asked you on the poll question, and here's how you answered. Yes, it's a must-win series. 59.5% of you say so. 27% say no, but you got to avoid the sweep. 13.5% say no, it's June. Look, I look at this, and if you want to be a real player in the NL Central, you're 6.5 back now. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
6.5 in this division when you have a winning record, it's tough to track. So if you're going to track down not just the Brewers, but the middle part of this division, guess what you're going to have to do? Win some games in the division. Beat teams like the Cardinals. Yes, you got to run down those teams, and you do that by winning games. And look, they had no business losing to the Royals. That's what's tough about this. That's why we have this poll question. If they hadn't lost 2 of 3 to the Royals, I don't think we say, is this a must-win series? But it sort of feels that way, because if you drop 2 of 3 to the Cardinals, then you're going to be probably 7.5 back in the division, maybe 8.5. Who knows what Milwaukee does this weekend? But the Cardinals are going to move to six games ahead of you. Like, all of those things happen, and that's the uphill battle, the uphill climb. I know you're looking at the wild card standings and all that hopium. It's June. I'm not thinking about the wild card. What I'm thinking about is how you can compete in the Central, and that starts with winning games. Those games this weekend on the road in St. Louis.
It certainly does, and the step before winning those games would be getting healthy. I think that's the biggest thing for this Reds team, and it starts this weekend with getting Lauder back.
Chamber. Oh, okay, yes. Lauder back. Okay.
Thank you. Just give me a second here.
Goodness, getting healthy.
You get Lauder back in the rotation, it changes the way this thing is viewed going into the weekend. We've talked about the series a lot with the pitching matchups because there's been 2, basically how 3-game sets have gone, 2 pitching matchups that happen, and it's either an Abbott Burns in a 3-game series and you feel very confident about being able to win, or it's a Paddock Singer and you feel like you're going to have an uphill battle before the games even start. This weekend certainly feels a little bit better by getting Rhett Lauder back on the mound. Lodolo, who's finding it a little bit on Saturday. I think this is a very important series to win. I just don't know if I can quite give it the must-win label on June 5th.
It just feels so big, just like on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
How big did Tuesday night feel?
Massive.
Didn't it? I mean, it felt huge. They would have gotten swept. I haven't even wrapped my head around that. They would have gotten swept by the Royals at home.
The whole conversation is they lost a chance to win the series in Game 3, but
yes,
they stole not getting swept in Game 2.
Oh, Mike. While you swept is wild. That's a new one.
That's a good one.
Yes, while you swept.
Someone write that down.
Aaron, type it. Yeah,
Someone write that down.
While you swept, just type it somewhere. Slack it to me, seriously. She thinks I'm kidding. Please, while you swept, slack it so I don't forget. Yes, thank you. My goodness.
It's a good one.
It's good.
You're cooking at 8:52.
And well, here's the other thing. You cannot. The fact that that's the possibility, I've convinced myself it's a must-win series. Show me who you are. Show me who you are. If you're a good team, you take 2 of 3 to the Cardinals.
Correct. If you're a good team,
If you're a good team. They might not be good right now.
I think they can avoid the sweep, and we don't know if they're good, though. Like, it won't tell you one way or the other.
Of course.
They're good or they're bad if they win or they get swept.
The odds
avoid the
are
sweep, and we can be in the middle.
They lose 2 of 3 on the road, but it's the same team that should have taken 2 of 3 from the Royals.
Yeah.
And that's what's tough. I can't believe they were a crazy Will Benson home run away from getting swept by the Royals. Yeah. I hadn't looked at it that way. It's really dumb that I looked at it differently, but I was already on to they should have swept them, and they didn't. And they wasted a Chase Burns start and all of the things that come with it. This team, like if they win 2 out of 3, it's not like I'm going to say, all right, well, bank on being busy for come playoff time. But it would be a sign of hope. And right now the sign of hope is, to your point, hyperbaric chamber. Guys are getting healthy-ish. Right, you're getting Rhett Lauder back. That helps. Eugenio Suarez is back. We'll see if he's actually back enough to play and play at a high level. But that's kind of where it's at. Let's take a look at some of these poll questions, or the poll answers and responses. We've already seen the results. A lot of you saying it's a must-win series. What did you say from a response standpoint? Let's take a look at them here. All right. Kyle says, every game is a must-win. It's rather annoying hearing that term floated around as if certain games are acceptable losses. You play to win the game. Have to play with the mentality to win every single day. Well, yes.
Yeah.
I agree with all of that. It's also baseball. You're going to lose games, but you play to win the game. I get it. And losing isn't acceptable. So every game is a must-win, so they're going to win out. Like, they're not going to go 132-30. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Probably
Spoiler
not.
alert.
Don't shut the door all the way.
Clip
not.
it, Aaron. They're not going to go 132-30, even though every game is a must-win. We overuse the term must-win, Joe says. maybe this is Joe Burrow. I want them to win, and it would be good for the season. But if this is a must-win series, then every series from here on out is a must-win as well, which obviously won't happen.
Yeah, I think that's a good point from Joe. I do think must-win is overused a little bit, but this series this weekend is a can't lose. You can't go into this series and lose this weekend because I think it can really just unravel after that Royals series.
Here's the issue with the must-win. Here's why it's overused by people. Is because there are people that are like diving into the dictionary and saying, here's the definition of must. Yeah. Well, obviously, mathematically, they can overcome losing. They can overcome losing the next 15 games. They will not overcome losing the next 15 games. And that's kind of the point. Is like if the Reds don't make the playoffs, I'm going to be thinking of May.
Correct.
And how they went 0-for-7 in May when they went on the road in the division and blew 3 games. And could have went 3-4 pretty easily and kept everything going, kept the momentum going in a big way. They would have been 23-15. Instead, they were 20-18 coming home after that road trip in May. So, let's relax. I get what the defining must-win. It feels like it's a big series. So, yeah, it would be must-win in that scenario.
11-19 since May 1st. The team is 3rd worst in the National League when it comes to run differential. I think we're at a point right now where we might have to forget April soon if this Reds team doesn't turn it around and come to reality that they're closer to this version.
The biggest move the Bengals made this offseason is going overlooked. Plus, is one rookie emerging as a potential starter? That is next right here on First Word.
And this week I'm hanging with my girl Tia Wallace, and we were at Kroger on the ride in Cincinnati, Ohio. On Thursdays, it becomes Club Kroger, and Tia's gonna give me a henna tattoo. She sets up shop here every Thursday and does henna tattoos. And I've gotten a bunch from her before, and so now I just came to Club Kroger to get one tonight.
My business name is The Duchess. I have been doing henna I taught myself in 1999. I got books. I practiced on myself. Nobody wanted it back then. It was like, what is that? They weren't like, do one for me. Fast forward 2013, that's when it became more mainstream.
This is Kroger on the Rhine and Over the Rhine, Cincinnati. This is actually my Kroger. I live just right around the corner. And on Thursdays, it turns into this Club Kroger. And it gets crazy. Like, it just started. And it just gets wild. God, girl, you're so good at this. There's so many people dancing around me. It is killing me not to be able to dance a little bit. It's henna.
What that mean?
He said it's not permanent, but it's going to stick around for like a week, sometimes 10 days.
I
was really nervous. Yeah.
No, you gotta go right out there. Next song, we out there. We out there.
Okay, good. I got my dancing out. I've been like, what are the dances we got here? And I've just been sitting still.
All right. Yep, our first time.
Should I not do the fingers?
Welcome into another Rebound Rundown local update. This time we're going to go up to Oxford, where the Miami Redhawks are going to do their best to replicate a historic season, an undefeated regular season for Miami and head coach Travis Steele, who just got a contract extension into the early 2030s. An awesome job by Travis Steele to get his team into the NCAA tournament this past season. Let's take a look now at what Miami is bringing back and what they've added. Rich Rolfe, Stevie Elam, and Preston Copeland, those are your additions for Miami this season, but you get back Evan Ipsara, who tore his ACL in December, the starting point guard. Real junkyard dog defensive player. Almar Atlason, a huge piece of this past year's team. Luke Skaljak as well, who filled in nicely as the starting point guard when Ipsara went down. Justin Kirby, a huge piece coming back for Miami this season. So if you're Miami, You have retention, and you have some complementary pieces out of the portal. I like what they're building in Oxford. Hear about it more on The Rundown.
Welcome to First Word, Cincinnati's only morning sports show, breaking down the biggest moments and the stories shaping Cincinnati sports with analysis that cuts through. First Word, setting the agenda in Cincinnati sports.
We set the agenda for you every single weekday morning, 7 to 11, right here on First Word. I'm James Rapien. He's Jacob Triscutt, a.k.a. Jacob Tissot.
We're doing so well.
Marisa Contipelli, hopefully going to join us on the show next week after vacation. We will see. Will she? I'm not sure. We're going to shrug until we see her. Here's what you are going to see. In 1 hour, a big Bengals guest. He's pretty strong.
Big.
Yeah. Do it again. Clip it, Aaron. Oh, my goodness. There we go. Just get you flexing on him. Actually, who's going to be sitting in this chair is going to be pretty big. Jacob's going to slide down.
He's a good people mover. He'll move me down there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a good tease. It's a good tease. So stick with us here with you till 11 o'clock. Plenty to get into. And we do start with the Bengals. And is this the guy that's going to be joining us in studio? Dexter Lawrence is the biggest moves of the offseason. It would be big. It would fit the big description. I'm not going to say, confirm, nor deny whether that's it or not. Here's what I will say. And in 5 minutes, we're going to get to a big question mark going into training camp. But obviously, this Dexter Lawrence trade was huge here in Cincinnati. It was huge for the Bengals. You have Joe Burrow talking Super Bowl. You have this team and this fan base and the organization juiced up, fired up. Nationally, it feels a bit different. And whether you look at what Fox Sports did or what Colin did, and we played Colin earlier in the show, we're not going to do it again, but Colin Cowherd didn't rate Dexter Lawrence in that trade in his top 10 offseason moves. Maybe he just forgot that move happened, but that didn't happen. And then Fox Sports had it 5th overall, which feels a bit low, at least based on the excitement around town. Well, what do you think? Is it right, 5th? Is it right that he's not in the top 10 at all? Where is this Dexter move for you?
I think top 5 is really the only line where there's open to debate. I don't think there's any question it's a top 10 move of the offseason. I would have it a little bit above 5, but certainly not going to push back at calling it a top 5 move in the league. I think Dexter Lawrence is certainly one of the best defenders in all of the league and probably one of the most unique as well. There's no one really across the NFL that does what Dexter Lawrence does from the interior defensive line position, and the Bengals gave up a top 10 pick for him. So whichever side of the coin you're looking at here, I think both teams, it was a massive trade for Dexter Lawrence and the Giants getting the 10th pick.
Yeah, huge trade. Changed everything for the Bengals. It changed the overall landscape. It changed our tone about how they're viewed, how their defense is viewed, how the Jonathan Allen's viewed, how B.J. Hill can be used, how the overall outlook of Shamar Stewart and Miles Murphy and Boye Mafe and how these guys can come together. It changed everything for me from that standpoint.
Yeah.
I would be stunned if this isn't a top 5 move of the offseason come 4 months from now when we're in the middle of October and the Bengals are playing. I just think it's going to be so impactful. It's going to feel much different. And here's part of it. It's not just Dexter, and it's not just that he's going to command double teams and all of those things. It's that they actually believe.
Right.
Like deep down they believe. And I think there's a difference between believing you're going to win and having a real chance at winning a Super Bowl and saying, I can do it, I'm going to figure it out. And there's a very big difference. And I think Joe Burrow the past couple of years said, oh, I'll figure it out. I have Jamar, I have T. We'll figure it out. And Zach and everybody, we'll figure out linebacker. We'll figure out safety. Geno Stone just missed another tackle. We'll figure out all of these things. There's a lot less to figure out when you have a giant in the middle of your defense that can push the pocket, get after the passer, and command double teams on every play.
Absolutely, and we talk about some of the weaknesses on the Bengals defense last year, and defensive line was one of the places that had a really good player. B.J. Hill was special last year, and playing through a lot of injuries and working through it and being out there to help the defense that needed every bit of help that they could get. B.J. Hill was in the top 5 of double teams last season. Now Dexter Lawrence is going to be playing next to him like they did for a few years in New York earlier in their careers. And now B.J. Hill's going to be free. And then you're adding Jonathan Allen to the defensive line. And then you're taking so much off the plate of what you're asking these young guys to do as they're expected to take a massive step this year and help transform this defense. So I think it really brings everything together. And even just standing alone, the player, Dexter Lawrence, all-pro, pass rush production from the nose tackle position, all these things that make him who he is, 10th pick going to the Giants. Standing alone, I think it's one of the top 5 moves of the trade. But what it means for the Bengals, I think that's what bumps it up into the conversation of possibly being the biggest move of the offseason.
For sure. If the Bengals become a Super Bowl contender, they don't do that without the Dexter move.
Right.
And they're probably not close. Like, if this offseason felt like a failure for me, and I gave them a D on free agency, even though I liked what they did because I didn't think they did enough. And the show wasn't live then, but the receipts are out there. D. And again, it's because they were so bad on defense. You needed to do so much. And the Lawrence trade brings a lot of it together. We'll see if it does come together for the Bengals defense. But the thing is there's still questions. And that's what's tough. And why I buy in on the Dexter hype and the importance of it, because without it, these holes feel a lot bigger. And with it, it's like, oh, well, at least they're awesome at something. Because the linebacker, obviously it's a big hole. Cornerback is a sneaky one, especially at the nickel spot. Is it Jalen Davis? Is it Tacario Davis? I thought this was interesting here. DJ Turner asked about Dexter Lawrence, that move, and it turned into talking about Bobo Davis.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was great. I mean, a D-line is a DB's best friend. So, it's really excited about everything that happened. Brought in Cook, brought in Bobo. I mean, everybody, we real excited.
Ever going to round a corner like Bobo with his length and height?
Nah, not for real. Nah, he's like 6'4". I ain't seen that. I haven't seen that. Only one I can think of is like Tyreek Woolen or something, but that's it.
Bobo Davis is certainly someone they're banking on. Yeah. I got to get used to calling him Bobo. It's Tacario Davis. It's the Bengals' 3rd-round pick. They're really high on him for sure. 6'4", 195, super long. It's with 34-inch arms, or right at 34-inch arms, 80-plus-inch wingspan. I wanted to start with Tacario because maybe he has a big say on who starts at nickel. Because if Tacario Davis is that, then Dax Hill might be asked, hey, man, you're moving into the nickel spot. And so I don't know if he's ready to go, like that ready, but DJ Turner saying, I haven't seen anyone like him. Usually those guys, if they work hard, they're going to see the field sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that would be the first question. I think a lot of people saw DJ Turner's comments and a lot of the stuff coming out about Tacario Davis so far in camp and are getting very excited that he might force his way onto the field this year. And I think that's absolutely worth talking about because he has all of the tools to be great. The build, the speed, the physicality, and the production in college. He was awesome at Arizona, transferred to Washington, and was great there. But I think the thing that is, does stand out to me is across all his years in college, 2 different schools, 2 different defenses, 37 total slot snaps. He's not going to be an option as the slot corner. If he does force himself onto the field, it would presumably move Dax Hill in. And Dax Hill has said publicly this offseason that he wants to stay outside. And as the Bengals are working through a potential contract extension and everything like that this offseason, I wonder how much that conversation could hurt Tacario's playing time or force him to learn that nickel spot a little bit and play inside. Either way, it's a great problem for the Bengals to have. You're adding another corner with a legitimate lockdown ceiling to that room, and it's a great place to be in because as much as I'm sure most Bengals fans agree and want to re-sign both DJ Turner and Dax Hill, it's not done yet. They're both set to be free agents after this year. So adding someone like Tacario Davis, someone with one of the highest ceilings of any corner in this class. A lot of questions, for sure, but one of the highest ceilings is a really exciting piece to have. And everything coming out so far since he's gotten into the building has just reinforced that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think people in the building really high on Tacario, and we'll see if Bobo Davis can figure it out. And be an instant impact type of contributor.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I know they're sold on Jalen Davis.
Right.
And it's Davis versus Davis. And you look at Tacario Davis there, he's someone that can really impact things. And Jalen Davis had a big impact. And they don't play the same position. Jalen Davis is the exact opposite. He's 5'8", 5'9", and not super long, not super tall, doesn't weigh. It may weigh close to, honestly, what Tacario Davis does because Tacario's so lean. But he's probably like 180. But the point is he's Mike Hilton. Yeah. He's not this 6'4" guy who you've never seen anything like him. He also lined up with the ones this week. And that's what's going to be interesting is, does he start at nickel? I think if they played tomorrow, that's what would happen. I also think if Bobo Davis is awesome and shows he can start outside, one of the two outside corners, DJ Turner or Dax Hill, is going to be signed. The other one isn't. I assume it will be DJ Turner signed. We'll see, but I assume that's going to be the case. If that is, then it's Dax Hill and Tacario Davis outside, Jalen Davis on the inside, or if Tacario is so good that he forces his way on the field and is clearly one of your three best corners, then you move Dax Hill inside. And that's what I think is interesting. So buy or sell that Jalen Davis is going to be their week one starting nickel.
I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it, and I feel pretty good about it, honestly. I think Dax Hill and DJ Turner are awesome on the outside, and if the organization's going to believe in Jalen Davis, then I'm going to believe in Jalen Davis too. I think the addition of Brian Cook to the safety room is such a big conversation with this as well, because having faith in your back end as a corner has to be one of the most game-changing things with how you're going to play that position. So adding Cook, one of the most sure tacklers and best cover guys, to that safety room, I think is going to help quite a bit. And shouldn't have to cover quite as long this year. Dexter Lawrence in the middle, much more juice in that edge room. A lot of those young guys looking to take another step. So I do think Jalen Davis will be their week one starter. And I think if they didn't believe that he could play at a high enough level to make that make sense, they would have added another nickel corner already this offseason. So I'm in on Jalen Davis to start the year. I do think Tacario will force his way on the field at some point.
You know what I think is interesting? And he's small. I think Jalen Davis, as of today, is the starting nickel corner. I think that's very much in flux. And that rhymes with Braylon Lux.
Wow.
Braylon Lux is a sneaky piece here. Impressed the coaching staff last year, undrafted free agent, someone who's small, but man, they like a lot of what he brought to the table. And I think it's interesting because they haven't added anyone. And when you do that, it's like, all right, well, can Braylon Lux be Jalen Davis but also contribute on special teams? Is that something there? Like, it's just, that to me is something to pay attention to. We have plenty of Bengals coming your way, including a special guest at 10 live in studio. We are your morning sports show, Cincinnati. First Word continues next, right here on The Crowd.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones, and today we're at the Acres here in Evendale, Ohio. It actually has been around for 70 years and was just redone in 2022. And I'm going to get a golf lesson from the one and only Brett Burchikoff. Brett, get on in here. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
No.
All right, well, you know what? I'm even worse at golf. I did take a golf lesson once when I was 20 years old. I haven't really golfed since that day. All right, so now we're going to take a look around the Acres and see just exactly where we are. There's so much fun stuff to do here.
It's really cool.
So what's great about the Acres is it's a whole family event. They have 16 bays inside, they're open year-round, and 22 bays outside. And then if you want to look over here, we have family fun putt-putt. I'm even worse at putt-putt, okay? First timer, so what do I need to know?
Okay, so kind of three things, three pillars. I like to call them: posture, just like your stance to the ball, kind of your address, the grip of the club, how you grip it, and then your alignment, your aim.
Posture,
grip, and alignment.
Alignment.
PGA. PGA.
That's what the PGA means?
No, feet kind of shoulder width apart, maybe a little wider.
All right.
You want to bend at the hips a little bit.
Okay.
And just a good athletic stance. Next is the grip. Easiest way for beginners to learn is
Hold
like
on,
that.
Do you do this?
I do that. Feet a little wider. The shoes are going to be tough, but
No, these
there you
are stable. Okay, ready?
Good swing. Slow shoulder swing.
Swing and a miss.
Got it out there.
Down the first baseline, baby. I really am trying really hard.
There you go.
Look at that!
Dead straight.
You're a great teacher.
Dead straight.
Heck yeah!
Wow.
Jesus. No, so here's the, want me to, yeah, you know, pretty much an expert here now.
Another rebound rundown update, this time for the Cincinnati Bearcats under first-year head coach Jared Calhoun coming over to Clifton from Utah State. And Jared Calhoun having to put together an entirely new roster this year for Cincinnati. Not a single returning player from last year's Bearcat team. Tylen Riley, the headline piece for this roster, a transfer in from Tulsa, the point guard of this group. Miles Colvin, a transfer from Wake Forest, somebody who has national championship game experience from his time at Purdue in that game against UConn. Tyler Tejada out of the CAA from Towson. Riley Allensbach from George Mason. Travion Carson, Jaden Hastings. Eric Mahaffey, the local product from Moeller. Spent his first year at Akron, now finds his way down to UC, plus 3 players who already have experience in Jared Calhoun's system from Utah State. That is a fantastic balance. You have to have a group that has played for a head coach before. Jared Calhoun has that. Much more coverage of the Bearcats on the Rebound Rundown. Stay tuned.
A big guest joining us live in studio at 10 right here on First Word. I'm James Rapien. He's Jacob Tissot. Marisa Contipelli's got her feet up somewhere, but maybe joining us next week. We'll see. You think so? You think she's going to join us next week?
I hope so. I like my angle from over here a little bit better than here.
Buy or sell? Wow. He said, your side profile, James, is awful. I want more.
Just like sliding down a little bit.
Yeah, I get that. All right. So buy or sell, she'll be here.
I will buy it.
Buy? 1 to 10 confidence level. I'm going to just hit you with all of the whiteboards.
7.2.
We haven't used the whiteboards at all this week. All I've done is wrote, Chad can't cover me. You tell me which Chad. I'm thinking about Ocho Cinco, by the way. Official calling out Chad. All right, so 1 to 10. I'm going to say 7. I think she's having a lot of fun on vacation. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
She may just be like, I'm just going to do that hiking forever.
Forever.
Just hike forever.
Where would you end up if you hike forever?
I'm never going to find out, but Marisa might, so she can call and tell you. If she doesn't show up on Monday, we will call her. This is First Word. We are Cincinnati's morning sports show. Check us out every single weekday, 7 to 11. It is launch week. Did you know it was launch week?
I did.
It was launch week. We've got to shout out everybody. Is that what's queued up, Gabe? If so, I would love to play it. Oh, it's okay. That's what it looked like was queued up.
It did. I thought so too.
Yeah. I was like, he's got it up. I might as well just use it. It's ready to roll. Look. My guy Sam Chavez put together an awesome. I can thank him today.
I was going to say, you're working in as many thank yous as possible to make up for it.
Yeah, I didn't thank him on the first day, but he put together a lot of our promos, a lot of our social media stuff, including this, which will drop on our socials later today. But you get to see it first right here on First Word.
I'm happy to announce that Cincinnati finally has a morning sports show, and it's one that you can watch right here on YouTube called First Word.
I loved it. I love every bit of it. It's quick. It moves fast. But guess what? It hits on everything from what Rick Broering wrote, which I'm really grateful for, to all of your messages, tweets. it's been really cool to see all the reaction. And it makes me more than ever want to deliver the morning show that Cincinnati deserves, because we should have morning sports. Yeah. It makes no sense that we haven't. Well, now you do every single weekday here on First Word.
Wild concept. The fans in this city are awesome and deserve a morning show. Now we're giving it to them. The response has been great over the last week and all throughout launch week. Thank you for everyone who's watched on The Rock, tuned in on YouTube, in the chat. Love it. And we'll be back for it next week and the week after and the week after and the week after.
And the week after.
And the week after.
And I'll forget to thank Sam the rest of the way. So I got a bunch of them in. Clip it, Gabe. So we have all the thank yous. Let's dive into this big series against the Cardinals for the Reds. The Reds are 31-30. They dropped 2 of 3 against the Royals earlier this week, which is really lingering in my head because I can't believe that happened. And I just put together, like, without a ninth inning rally, they would have gotten swept by the Royals. And so you go into this Cardinals series, you got to rebound. You got to rebound like Paul Fritcher in the rebound rundown. And the only way you do that is go on the road, win a game you shouldn't win. And you make up for it because you lost a game you shouldn't have lost against the Royals. Flip that now and find a way to take 2 of 3 from the St. Louis Cardinals. It starts tonight, 8:15, Busch Stadium. I will be watching. Will you?
I'll be dialed. Absolutely no question about it. And when Kyle Lay's on the mound for the Cardinals, usually it's a positive for the other team, but can't even get excited about a 4.25 ERA for the opposing pitcher when Brady Singer's on the mound with his 7.2. So, or 6.2. Sorry, it's come down a little bit.
There we go. He was good last time.
That's good. It's encouraging. But hopefully, as James says, you can get those pipes warmed up and start singing tonight because it has not been pretty this year. And Brady Singer is not one of the guys in this rotation that you're really ever expecting to be a 1 or a 2 or even a 3. You're expecting him to give you length consistently in baseball games, and he has not been able to do that this year, and it's rippled into other starts when the bullpen hasn't been able to go. So I think the biggest thing for me tonight is focusing on Brady Singer's length and making sure he can get through this game and help this bullpen out on the back half.
Yeah, for sure. I think who's more important? Whose start are you, or do you consider more important as you look there, Singer or Louder? More important.
I think Louder because I think he's the bigger part of the rotation moving forward, and if he can just be back right away, it means so much and not having to wait and drag our feet.
I think it's Singer, and here's why. If Louder struggles, it's like it's his first start back.
And that's
if Singer struggles, then we're like, hey, man, where's your voice? You do need to start singing.
Yeah.
Here's what I will say. I look at this on paper, starting the season, if you would have said, and leave this up for a second, Gabe, Singer, Lodolo, Louder, weekend series on the road, Busch Stadium. You'd feel good.
Yeah.
I would have felt pretty darn good.
At the very least, I would have said the bullpen would have been rested for Saturday and Sunday after Singer gives you at least 6 on Friday, and Lodolo and Louder are really good. So you would have had a lot of confidence rolling into this series, but that just kind of tells you what a season it's been for the Reds so far.
It has, and you look at the last 10 for the Cardinals, they're 3-7. It's not like they're playing great right now. So you got to get 2 of 3, and what a tone setter it would be if Singer could go out there, get a dub tonight, and then you go into tomorrow with Lodolo, and he's feeling much better about where he is, and he just keeps getting better and better. The past couple of outings have gotten better. They need their rotation to be the strength. They're not going to just suddenly hit 6 home runs a game and score 10 runs. They're not that team. It's not going to be that team. Their manager literally this week was like, yeah, sometimes we struggle to score. That's my nightmare. That is my nightmare. Offense wins championships. That's my nightmare. I get it. Pitching is important. And it is. And the Reds are supposed to have good starting pitching. The one thing they were supposed to do well. It would be like if the Bengals struggled to throw the ball.
You're right.
Similar. Now, the rotation isn't Joe Burrow of rotations, but they were really darn good. They were really darn good on paper. And, yeah, Hunter Green's not out there. I get it. They need to find a way, though, for this rotation to be a strength where every day – you're like, hey, he's on the mound.
Yeah.
They have a chance. And that's what it should be for Brady Singer, and it hasn't been for 2 months. That needs to change. He showed some signs his last outing.
For sure.
Has to get over the hump tonight against the Cardinals.
Absolutely. And I think a big thing, obviously, you hope Singer takes a step, and then you hope on Saturday Lodolo can continue to move along. This is a guy who preseason, when everyone was healthy, was the number 2 arm in this rotation behind Hunter Green. Now, obviously, lost them both before the season even started, and you move everyone up. And when Lodolo came back, it wasn't pretty through his first few starts, but he's really locked in the last few. Six innings against the Mets, allowing only 1 earned run, and then turns around and goes 6 2/3 against the Braves, the best lineup in in baseball. That was 2 home runs with 3 earned runs overall, and really giving the Reds that length we talk about here to take a little bit of pressure off the bullpen. I really do feel good, or about as good as I could feel about a non-Birds and Abbott weekend this weekend. I think Lodolo's trending in the right direction. Obviously, really excited to see Rhett Lauder back in the rotation. And at some point, Brady Singer is going to pitch decent. I don't know if well is a word I'm going to throw in there, but he's going to pitch decent, and he's going to give you a start at some point that we've seen the last 4 years of his career. That's why the Brady Singer conversation is so startling to me. Even when Abbott was struggling, it was, okay, he was great last year, but he's still young. The sample size is small. You know, there's some worries that come in, or you know, Lodolo struggles, and it's this injury lingering or whatever it is. And Singer has been the same pitcher his whole career, and then this year has drastically changed. Now, you hope it's not, you know, wear and tear or anything along those lines leading to too many innings across his career or whatever that may be, but at some point he's going to play to the back of the baseball card. I know that gets thrown around a lot when talking about teams that are struggling, and maybe it's not fair to just say they're going to come back to the mean at some point, but that's what the stats would say, is that at some point he's going to get back to what he's been his whole career, the pitcher the Reds traded for, and that's one of the biggest things that this rotation can pick up right now.
No doubt. I mean, you got to be who you are at some point.
Yeah.
And this is a show me who you are series, and it starts with Singer. And if he sets the tone, I'd be comfortable, and maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe he sets the tone, they win tonight, and then they drop the next 2. But I'd be comfortable if they won tonight thinking that either Lodolo or Lauder, that they'll get one of those 2.
Winning tonight and losing the next 2 would be...
It would stink.
Gut-wrenching.
It would stink. But you need Singer to be that guy.
For sure.
And that's it. It starts there. It's the small. You're not going to just, we got to sweep the Cardinals. No, you got to win tonight. If you win tonight, then you're going to feel good about yourselves, and then you have Nick Lodolo on the mound, and he has the potential to be your second best starter, surely. And the hope for Brady Singer, second best healthy starter, just to be clear. The hope for Brady Singer is something that, so Jacob and I and Marisa and the entire First Word group, we've been working together for months. It's launch week, we've been working together for months. So we followed the Reds, we've been talking about the Reds. One of the things that has come up, and that came up in April when we were working together, was Andrew Abbott's struggles. You just confidently said Andrew Abbott. Much different than you felt in April.
No question.
And that's the point with Brady Singer.
Absolutely.
It's a long season. Sometimes you just stink. And he's stunk. But you look at the back of the baseball card, and he's usually better than he's been. Showed signs his last outing. It needs to come back to fruition, and that's the hopium. I'm hoping, and this is the hopium show, because I've said it like 12 times, because if he's going to be that guy, it's probably June 5th, because I don't want to be going into July like, hey, he struggled for the past 3 months.
Right.
3.5 months, struggled since last year. Like that's a really long sample size, a really big sample size that you don't want to have the conversation about. So if he goes out tonight, pitches well, gets a quality start, heck, gives up 2 and 5 innings, I think you take that all day long. They need Brady Singer to be on it. And if that happens, then they're going to be in position. Let's talk about Rhett Lauder a bit, because it's obviously a big Sunday for him. He's coming back. He's coming off the injured list. It's as big. I mean, you could debate it either way, but having Lauder out there and pitching at a high level, this rotation needs to be a strength. It won't be unless Rhett Lauder is healthy 100%, what we saw in April Lauder.
We talked about buying and selling earlier in the show, and I know it's not a trade, but adding a player like Rhett Lauder back off the injured list and moving someone to the bullpen will help this team pretty drastically at this point. It's 2 things that they need help with. They need more stability in the rotation. They need more stability in the bullpen. Lauder coming back will help with both of those. Now, you hope that he's great out there on Sunday and can lock it down and be the Lauder we saw through the first 8 starts of his career with a sub-2 ERA. Looked like one of the most exciting young arms in baseball. But I'm not entirely sure that that's realistic. Lauder threw only 70 pitches in his rehab start in AAA with the bats. 50 of those 70 were strikes, had great control, something that he struggled with in the majors so far. But I would be surprised if they just threw him completely into the fire on Sunday and said, go. He's out there for 7+ innings, throwing 100+ pitches. I would be really surprised if that happens, especially with how the Reds' rotation has been mangled by injuries so far this year. You're not risking that now that you've just gotten Lauder back. So I think it will be interesting interesting to see how quickly he can move through the early innings, something we've talked about with Chase Burns and Andrew Abbott earlier in these months where they've been some of the best pitchers in baseball, is when they've lost it early, they've gotten back on the horse, powered through a couple innings, and gotten through the length that the Reds have needed. I don't know if Louder will have that luxury on Sunday. If the pitch count gets up there early, he might not have the ability to work through it, but that's okay. His long-term health through this season and being a part of this rotation for games to come is the most important thing right now. He's going to help the Reds on Sunday by being out there. Hopefully he pitches like the player that he is in the rotation.
Yeah, if they do that, we're going to feel pretty darn good about where they're at.
Absolutely.
I feel pretty good about where we're at, because in 30 minutes, we're going to have a big guest joining us live in studio. It's a launch week edition of First Word. It's a fired up Friday. He's Jacob Tissot. I'm James Rapien. We'll continue the conversation with Vacation Marisa. Contipelli's Countdown is next.
Cincinnati, home to more than a dozen Fortune 500 companies. A city where you know someone who knows someone, and you're in business. Every weekday at noon, The Working Lunch brings you headlines from local businesses, along with exclusive interviews with owners and local leaders. East Side, West Side, northern suburbs, downtown, over the Rhine, and northern Kentucky. Real conversations, real Cincinnati. The Working Lunch with Jack Crumley. Weekdays at noon, only on The Crown.
It's time for another Tissot's Take here on First Word, and Sal Stewart. What a joy it's been to watch him for the Cincinnati Reds in his first full season with the big league club. Such a young player playing a new position at first base. Stewart played 203 games at third base through the Reds minor league system, just 2 at first, and he has been a star over there so far this year. After his historic April, he's been at the front of the NL Rookie of the Year race, battling against other young stars in the National League Central. Moises Ballesteros with the Cubs, Connor Griffin with the Pirates, J.J. Weatherholt with the Cardinals, some of the most exciting young players in all of baseball playing in the National League Central, and Sal Stewart right there at the top. First base, he's been great, but also a serviceable second baseman and third baseman, and hitting phenomenally from the plate. A real threat anywhere he is on the diamond, and someone no pitcher wants to face in the box. Very lucky to have someone this professional at such a young age. You're watching First Word, part of the Crown Network, from 7 to 11 every weekday morning.
Hello, my name is Natalie Jones, and welcome to the Nat Jones Show. After retiring from my 10-year radio career here in Cincinnati, I caught the bug, and I'm happy to bring it here to the Crown. I love captivating people who have captivating stories to tell, and the thing about it is, everybody has a story to tell. All you got to do is empower them to do so. That is exactly what I'm doing here. Because life is better when we all stay curious and we all stay connected.
I'm James Rapien, and this is your First Word Bengals Minute. Joe Burrow is undoubtedly one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. We know that. He knows that. But can he be the best? Well, earlier this offseason, he said he wanted to throw for 48 touchdowns, that it was doable. If he hits that mark, it would give him 205 in his career, which would be #1 all-time, passing Andy Dalton in Bengals history. And that mark is one thing, but becoming the best on the planet is another. And Joe Burrow, for my money, has the chance, has the potential, has the ability to be the best quarterback on the planet, and it's up to him to show it this year. Is 48 touchdowns doable? Absolutely. How about the NFL all-time single-season record at 55 that Peyton Manning set way back in 2013? Joey B, let's see you get that done. For more on the Bengals, make sure you check out First Word every single weekday, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown.
launch week. Welcome back to First Word. I'm James Rapien alongside Jacob Tissot and Marisa Contipelli. We are your morning sports show, Cincinnati, every single weekday, 7 to 11, always open. Even Jacob can't guard me right here on The Crown. And it is time for one of our favorite parts of the show, Contipelli's Countdown, right here on First Word.
That might be one of the nicest things you've ever said about me or the countdown. That's one of your favorite parts of the show. Gabe, clip it. We are saving that one for the archives. But with it being launch week and the first week of June, it just got me really excited thinking about the rest of summer because, in my opinion, first week of June is kind of the unofficial start of summer for us around the Queen City. And that got me thinking, what are 5 upcoming games, events, weekends that I am looking forward to amongst our Cincinnati and local-ish area sports teams? So I'm going to start things off with the Redlegs because looking up to the middle part of the season here, that weekend going into the All-Star break, they have 3 at home against the Cubs July 10th through the 12th, and the way things have kind of gone in the NL Central, guys, that could be a massive series for the Reds.
Cub salad.
Cub salad.
Trademark.
Yummy,
Cub
yummy.
salad. And I'm not a salad guy, full disclosure. Kind of hate salad. But Reds got to love some Cub salad.
Salad's good. Yeah.
I'm just...
Be a salad guy. But yeah, no, it's a huge stretch at home for the Reds leading into the All-Star break. You get 3 against Baltimore, 3 against Philly, wrapping up with the Cubs. Cubs series are always my favorite here in Great American. Cubs fans come a lot more than I would like to take over the stadium, but it always feels just a little bit better to beat them in Great American. So a great way to wrap up the first half. Hopefully fighting for contention of the #1 spot in the National League Central for the All-Star break.
Yeah, absolutely. And teasing on tomorrow's countdown, we're going to talk about James's 5 favorite salads. I'm just kidding. What do you got against salad? Do you eat vegetables? Do you eat greens?
I do. I've gotten better. I do eat vegetables. I am open. I can do a salad, but never in my life have I been like, oh, I'm hungry. Let me eat that salad. Just never is it. Like if I'm at a wedding and they serve you salad, but like I've never ordered a salad as a meal ever.
Interesting.
That being said, if you do like lettuce at Chipotle or something like that and you go that route, I can get by with that because it's everything that is there normally. It's basically a salad, but not really.
Yeah, I don't really consider that a salad.
I agree. It just has some lettuce. Yeah. So I can do lettuce, but just a salad? What do we do? We want to talk about salads?
You give me a grilled chicken Caesar, I'm good, man.
That's one of us. Unless you want to sponsor this salad segment. No, I'm just kidding.
Salad segment on First Word. That could be onto something. Well,
you guys can take it.
We're not sure if James is doing salad, but we do know that James is probably going to be interested in the Hell is Real Derby coming up later this summer. FC Cincinnati when they take on Columbus Crew. Ooh. And the first one is going to be on July 25th up in Columbus. It'll be the 22nd meeting all time between these two rivals. And FC, well, they've won the last 2 out of the 3.
Yeah. Best rivalry in United States soccer for my money.
Fair. And look, Cincinnati is better than Columbus at MLS, at universities. It's just what it is. It's how it is. And so I can't wait for FC Cincinnati to open up a can of salad on Columbus.
Can we make something a little bit stronger than salad?
Of salad? Yeah, that's why I don't like salad. I can go more strong. I got to get more strength. No, I went to one. It was a while ago now, but it was early on in this rivalry, and it's only gotten better and better. Mm-hmm. Go FCC.
Absolutely love it. Nothing better in professional sports than when you get a glimpse of a nice rivalry like this. Right. Always sets it apart. They don't exist as much as they used to in professional sports. More of a college thing. So great that FCC has dove all the way into this. Gives the whole state something to care about. It's a huge game. Will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, really looking forward to that one. And then the return Hell is Real Derby that will be in Cincinnati will be later on in the year, coming up in October. But very excited for that one. That's going to be July 25th. And speaking of Columbus, next on the countdown, we have to talk about the best university in the state, the Ohio State Buckeyes. James Rapien. They have a massive game on September 12th down in Austin against Texas. Going to be a primetime kick.
Hey, should we watch it together and eat salad? Pre-game the game with a little salad? No.
You're probably going to be at Nip at night.
I hope so. But that being said, excited about this one. At some point, we will watch Ohio State together this season. I will allow that.
Yeah, this slotting in at number 3 on the Ohio sporting events versus most excited for this summer. I think it would probably be number 3 in just the whole nation as well. One of the most anticipated games for any sport coming up this year. It was great last year in the shoe, and now Ohio State going back down. 2 top 5 teams. Don't get a lot of this in college football anymore, especially between the Big Ten and the SEC. I'm really excited.
Full warning here. I want to root for the Buckeyes in this one. I should not be rooting for Texas.
No.
The choice is your guys. If you guys haymaker me with Buckeye stuff and I'll go full Texas Longhorn.
You know I'm not going to do that. I'm more worried about that guy sitting next to you.
I just want to throw the disclaimer out. Launch week, first week.
I don't want
no salads, and I don't want to say hook 'em, but I will.
Gabe
I don't even want you on our side.
Gabe just said hook him in our ears, and Gabe, we're going to have words after the segment because I can't have any of that. No, not flying. Adam, audio Adam, come on, what are we doing here? Control room, we're having a meeting after Countdown is over. But moving on in the 5 events I'm looking forward to this summer. Number 2. The July 4th weekend, it's going to be really exciting around Major League Baseball. The 250th celebration of the United States of America. And for July 4th, the players are going to be wearing special Nike jerseys with stars and stripes themes, patriotic socks and caps, a special patch too for the event. Going to be a really unique thing, and really excited to see what the Reds jerseys are going to look like.
Absolutely love that the Reds are at home for this. Obviously home on opening day all the time. One of the most historic franchises in baseball, and one of the teams that was selected to play at home on the 4th of July. So very cool to stay, as one of the marquee franchises in baseball, even though the success hasn't been there as of late for the Reds. But super cool, obviously, that the whole league is doing this for the USA 250. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
It will be. Can't wait to see them. Hopefully I'm like, yes, need one, gotta have one. If so, Reds, I might not rock salad, but I might rock that jersey.
I feel like the alternate jerseys, especially in baseball, are very hit or miss. Like, they're awesome,
Right.
Need to see
or
it.
I'm not even considering
Need
buying
to see
one.
it, yes.
I have a feeling I will end up at Great American Ballpark on July 4th. Jacob,
I
you
will
going
be there.
too?
Yeah.
It's like I knew the answer. I don't even know why I asked the question.
Guess who won't be?
James.
Hey, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Reds, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I'll consider it.
Okay. Anyways, number 1 on the countdown for the most events I'm looking forward to this summer, and we're still considering September summer. That's why we have Ohio State, Texas, and that's why I have the Bengals home opener against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Open in Orange tradition. Kickoff September 13th, a 1 o'clock start, which is, just a common theme for the Bengals' first portion of the schedule. But really looking forward to seeing just how Joe Burrow and his team looks. Our first shot of seeing Dexter Lawrence in action, so pretty excited about that one.
Yeah, huge game, huge expectations going into this season, as big as they've been in multiple years now. The Bengals roster, we've covered it a lot this week. The Bengals roster is at a different level, and so there's going to be expectations. And pressure comes with those expectations. How does this Bengals defense under Al Golden, how do they look? How does Joe Burrow look? MVP? We'll see for Joey B. Some are saying that he's a candidate.
Everyone should be saying that.
Some at this desk or over there on the Contipelli countdown set saying it. So we'll see if they can get it done. But yeah, the hype that week is going to be huge. That's part of why this show exists, is because guess what?
Right.
Every single morning you're going to be able to talk Bengals with us throughout the season. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
Bengals home opener always takes the cake for what you're most excited for throughout the summer. Nothing quite like Bengals season, especially in Cincinnati. And Bucks, formidable opponent coming in week 1, so it should be fun for that one. Not as excited about the Open in Orange. Hasn't been great the last 2 years. So.
But I think this could be the opportunity to kind of, change the tune
Hope so.
on that. Maybe.
Yes. White pants, please.
Wait, you don't like the full orange?
No.
I think
I kind of like it.
it was fire against the Patriots.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that they couldn't tackle Jacoby Brissett and let him run for first downs, and Tanner Hudson forgot the ball, but it was fire. Also, Mike Gesicki's touchdown was a touchdown.
Mike Gesicki's touchdown.
Correct.
Right.
Was a touchdown. Just throwing that out there. Clearly, I haven't forgot about 2024 and what happened that game, because I remember afterward I was like, that may cost them the playoffs, and it cost them the playoffs. So hopefully, you're right. Hopefully they bounce back. But opening in orange, I like it because it looks good.
Yeah, I love the orange jerseys. I think the white pants just make it a little better.
But see, I think that to have the whole open and orange, it has to be all orange.
Yeah.
Like, I think you can't do it with white pants.
Open in black, rock the white jerseys. What do you mean? That wouldn't work.
Could
The
you
orange jersey
imagine?
with the white pants are one of my favorite uniform
Could you
combinations they
imagine
have.
white Bengal with like black pants?
No.
Be a joke.
Same thing.
Wear the orange jersey. Don't call it open in orange.
No, I like open and
No,
orange. See,
I'm for it.
honestly, worse take than my salad take.
Wow.
I think we can all agree.
Oh, Ed.
Remind me of
Weigh
the
in,
I actually
Dolphins
might be
color
agreeing
rush.
with James on
Weigh in
this
chat,
one.
salad or open and orange. I take open and orange all day long.
Well, we have plenty of more
Give me a grilled
takes,
chicken
good
Caesar.
or bad. We'll leave that for you to decide. Coming up here on First Word, maybe a little more Bengals talk, maybe a little bit more Reds talk. Well, you'll just have to stay with us and find out. We're with you until 11 o'clock.
The Crown has you covered. Start your day with the First Word, Cincinnati's only morning sports show. Power through midday with the Working Lunch. Cincinnati business talk that keeps you in the know. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And the Rebound Rundown covers every corner of the college basketball scene in the tri-state and beyond. This is The Crown. Built for Cincinnati. First Word for your morning sports. The Working Lunch for business that hits home. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And Rebound Rundown for college hoops. This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe. Hi, my name is Natalie Jones. Just your typical 40-year-old Cincinnati girl. Although, no, I'm not married or divorced. I don't have any kids, and I don't live in the neighborhood I grew up in, which is the West Side, by the way. But what I do have is a lot of freaking time, and I've been using it well. So come along with me on this grand adventure, because I've been trying all the new around town that you need to know about. This is Nat Tries That.
Paul Fritchner back here for another Rebound Rundown local update, this time for the Xavier Musketeers under second-year head coach Richard Pitino, turning over some of the roster, but not quite as much as last year in his first season when he basically had to put together an entirely new team. He brings back some faces from this past year's team. Jovan Milicevic, the only one who played. Gabe Pizzato, expected to be a key player on this upcoming season's team. He had a torn meniscus. Cason Westfall redshirted as well. Jovan Milicevic, a really crucial star player for Xavier, is back. And then they add a couple of SEC starters in Mike Nwoko, the starting center from LSU, Ruben Dominguez, a sharpshooter from Texas A&M, plus Chance Westry, a point guard from UAB, True Washington, who played for Richard Pitino at New Mexico, then went to Miami, Florida. He is back playing for Richard Pitino, a really talented two-way player. A lot of pieces to be excited about on this Xavier team, and you can stay tuned for all of that and more right here on the Rebound Rundown.
My name is Jack Crumley. I've been covering news in Cincinnati on the radio for the last 20 years. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, but Cincinnati has always felt like home since day one. I've seen so many things accomplished here, and now, with the Working Lunch, I get to write, read, and talk about them every day. Hard-working people with a drive and a dream. Innovative ideas that help shape this city. Cincinnati is a great city, and I'm excited to tell you about it every day.
First word rolls on, and the big guest is about to land 10 a.m. Don't go anywhere because a big Bengals guest is coming your way. Marisa Contipelli, though, is here to give you everything you need to know about the 2026 World Cup and our World Cup preview. Stay with us after. Like I said, a Bengals big guest at 10 a.m. But here's Marisa on the World Cup.
The stage is set, the lights are shining, and the stars are ready to get after it, as the 2026 FIFA World Cup is set to kick off from North America from June 11th through July 19th, as the 23rd tournament will be hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Now, this year's World Cup does feature 48 teams. It's the largest the tournament has ever featured and does include Messi and the defending champions, Argentina, along with some of the powerhouse names like France, Brazil, and England. Now, the format for this year's tournament is going to look like this. The 48 teams will be divided into 12 groups of 4, with the top 2 teams and the best third-place finishers advancing to the newly introduced round of 32. Now, as for the United States, they are co-hosting the tournament for the first time since 1994, as aspirations are very high for this U.S. squad. Let's take a look, though, at how they can advance through group play. They will be in Group D. Friday, June 12th, the U.S. will kick off their tournament against Paraguay. That is at 9 p.m. Eastern from Los Angeles. They will then head up to Seattle on June 19th to take on Australia, and then we'll be back in LA on June 25th. Now, this U.S. team is arguably the deepest talent pool and roster that they have ever had for a World Cup. The 26-man roster was revealed during a reveal party up in New York City, and they are led by forward Christian Pulisic. Pulisic, the 27-year-old, highly regarded as one of the best American players of all time. Nicknamed Captain America, Pulisic was named to his second World Cup roster. As he paces the way for the U.S., his 32 career goals is the most since he was called up a decade ago, as he is also the most experienced player on the squad with 84 career caps.
We saw you at an event yesterday. The hype, the crowd, the kids, the amount of people looking around this wonderful venue right now, how excited people are. Is it starting to feel real for you? And then do you have a message for these fans of what to expect from you, but more importantly, this team this summer?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is starting to feel real. I'm so thankful for all this incredible support. Also yesterday, I mean, it really fuels us. So we really appreciate to see you guys showing out. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm just grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to have these people behind us.
And obviously, a bit of different expectations when you were going into your first World Cup as opposed to now your second World Cup. Face of U.S. soccer, big star. How do you deal with the expectations, the pressure going into the second World Cup?
Yeah, I've been asked this question a lot, and I don't
Sorry,
have a clear answer. All I can do is give my best. I'm so proud to represent this country, and yeah, I'm going to do my best to make you guys proud, and I'm just thankful that you guys support me.
Pulisic is one of 13 players returning from that 2022 World Cup roster that did advance to the round of 16. Now, other notable returners include 8 starters from that squad, like Tyler Adams, Matt Turner, and Weston McKennie, who all started every World Cup match for the U.S. 4 years ago. And of the 3 goalkeepers on this year's roster, just 22 years of age, Chris Brady is set to become the 3rd youngest keeper at this year's World Cup. He is also set to become the youngest U.S. goalkeeper in over 35 years. Now, FC Cincinnati defender Miles Robinson also earned a place on this year's team. Robinson became the first active FC Cincinnati player to earn a call-up to the U.S. men's national team for the World Cup. Robinson likely would have made the team 4 years ago, but unfortunately was out due to injury after rupturing his Achilles prior to the tournament. Now, as I mentioned before, the U.S. will be in Group D and are the favorites to advance out of that group. As far as the 11 other groups go, here is a look at some of the favorites to advance from group play. The list includes Mexico, Switzerland, Brazil, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, France, Argentina, Portugal, and England. This is all according to Sports Illustrated. Now here is also a few notable early group stage matchups to keep an eye on. The June 12th debut, of course, for the United States, the June 22nd tilt between France and Norway, and the highly anticipated rematch of the 2018 semifinal between England and Croatia. Now, as for who the favorites are, and Spain each at 5-1 odds, followed by England, Brazil, and the defending champions Argentina. The United States currently sit at the 14th best odds to win it all, as they take aim at winning the country's first ever World Cup trophy. Now, as games kick off June 11th throughout North America, here is a look at the 16 stadiums that will be holding World Cup matches. As you notice, their usual stadium names, well, they won't be in play. So instead of calling it MetLife Stadium, it'll be known as New York, New Jersey Stadium. That is going to be the largest capacity of the 16, holding over 78,000 spectators. Now, the smallest stadium on this list, well, that's going to be Toronto Stadium. Home to Toronto FC in MLS, that is over just a 44,000 capacity limit. Now, as for AT&T Stadium, or Dallas Stadium, as we will now be calling it for the next 5 or 6 weeks or so, they are going to be utilizing curtains to cover the windows during World Cup matches, a move that maybe Cowboy fans would like to see permanently. If you know, you know, right, NFL fans? Now, one other unique feature we will see during this World Cup is the official game ball by Adidas. That ball is going to need to be charged before every game, but don't worry, the battery life on that is expected to be about 6 hours. Now, the Trianda ball features a 14-gram built-in sensor. It tracks speed, spin, and movement 500 times per second, along with a precise location every single time the ball is touched. Now, the sensors are extremely lightweight, unnoticeable for the players. The 2022 World Cup sensor hung by wires inside of the ball, but this year, those sensors will be part of the ball panels. The data collected by the Trianda is paired with 12 cameras around the stadium that will help track the data and is transmitted live to VAR and will be used to determine goal line technology and offsides calls. Now, we will make sure to keep you updated on everything World Cup-wise, especially once the U.S. kicks off on June 12th as we follow along their tournament play, which we hope is going to be a deep tournament run. We will also make sure to keep you updated with everything else World Cup-wise, so follow us right here on The Crown.
The big guest is in the building. He will join us next, right here on First Word.
I'm here with Heather Britt. She is the founder and creator of the Dance Mix Foundation. This is the first inaugural Kids Dance Day. Tell us what you've done.
So we've been in 9 schools over Greater Cincinnati that we have been teaching a dance to over the last 3 weeks. They've practiced and now they're coming together to perform and then see other arts experience. Cincinnati Ballet, Art Museum, Playhouse in the Park. So they're gonna have a great day. Shoot. Let's go.
You stepped inside with a vibe I ain't never seen. Yes, you did.
This is so cool! This is so much fun!
It will break my heart, break my heart, break my heart if I find out you ain't moved. You better show me now, show me now, show me now. 'Cause when I take it to the floor, you gotta get down. You know what to do. Hey, Mr. DJ.
Oh, you guys are doing a great job. Whoa!
Why did you want to start this and do this?
Our mission is health, happiness, connection, but really about arts access as well and inclusion.
Nice job! Nice job! Hey! Your shoelaces are untied. Your shoelaces are untied. You don't know how to tie it? Can I do them? All right, cool. All right, I'll teach you. What's your name?
Tayden.
Tayden. Have you been having fun today?
Yeah.
Now he's good to go. That was making me so nervous. 1, 2, 3, dance face! Great job today. Great job today.
This city has always had something to prove. While the rest of the country talked about us, we built our own voice. Blue collar, underdogs, built differently, overlooked, talked about like we were supposed to stay quiet. But that was never who we were, because this city doesn't wait for permission. And neither do we. And now, for the first time, Cincinnati has a network built in its image, because the biggest stories in this city deserve more than highlights. This isn't cable television. This isn't national media. This is ours. This is the Crown.
The big Bengals guest is here to wrap up our first official week of First Word. I'm James Rapien alongside Jacob Tissot and none other than Orlando Brown Jr. in the building live here on First Word. Man, I'm excited to have you here, man.
Man, I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, on an off day. Orlando came in on an off day in the morning to come on the show. I can't overstate how excited we are to have you here. How excited are you about all the offseason moves? I'm not going to ask you about each one individually yet. I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
But all of them, just overall, the excitement, the mood in the building right now with what you guys have done this offseason.
Yeah, no, man, I'm really excited. You know, it's funny because I'm literally here year round. I don't leave. And so, you know, I'm training here in the month of January and February and March. And normally before, obviously, all my teammates come back. And I can just tell the difference in terms of, you know, the people in the building, from our coaches to our front office and ownership. It just felt like a different energy, even in January before a lot of these moves were made. But I'm excited, man. I mean, they've brought in a lot of amazing football players, but to me, what's most important is great men. And, you know, we talk about being able to build something special and sustainable. You know, it starts with the type of people you bring in the building. And so just with guys like Dex, Brian Cook, Boye Mafe, you know, three names that stand out. I mean, I think that's huge.
How much does it mean to bring in guys that have done it already in other places, high performers, champions on other teams? How much does it mean to bring those guys into this locker room?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge because to me, you know, a lot of times, especially on the professional level, the harder part of, you know, January, February football is having experienced it. Yeah. And so it's a different speed of the game once you get to the playoffs, and each round the speed of the game gets faster. And having guys that have played at a high level, going out and won championships, or even been all-pro players, you know, like Dex, who, you know, God willing, had that opportunity, he's going to wreck a game. You know, I think it's huge.
For sure.
Yep.
What is the challenge of dealing with a Dexter Lawrence? And you've game planned against him for sure. I'm not sure you've had to match up a ton against him.
Yeah, I personally haven't.
But you have to deal with him, and there's
in basketball, they say like gravity, like Steph Curry has gravity. I feel like Dexter Lawrence has orbit.
He does have orbit.
Like the defense is going to orbit around. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like so. What is that like as an offensive line? What is it like going up against that guy or having to deal with him?
Bro, like he's very special, like in the way that he can manipulate double teams. You know, a lot of players, you double them and you can take them out of the game for the day. Sometimes you got to almost triple team this guy. Like he's like, for one, I mean, he's so wide. He's a freak athlete. He plays really hard when he's in. He loves the game. You know, it's like so many different things that kind of go into it. But I personally haven't had to block him much, but for the few times I have, I mean, he's about as hard as the brick wall right here. So it's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of talent, obviously, on the offensive side of the ball. Yourself, Joe, the receivers. What does it mean to get some of that blue chip talent on the defensive side of the ball as well rolling into this season?
Yeah, it means a lot, man. You know, I think for all of us in the building, you know, we still got to go out here on Sundays and go win, but just having that extra element of talent on that side of the ball definitely, I think, will help our team take the next step.
Yeah, I think that's something over the past couple of years that a lot of people would look at and say, man, if they would just add this, or if they would just be aggressive and make this trade, or just sign this guy, and whoever it is, and whether it was right or wrong. And so when you see that unfolding, because they signed Brian Cook, you guys signed Brian Cook, and I go into scramble drill. I was writing, podcasting, reacting, and then Mafe gets done.
Yeah.
What's that like? Because I know you pay attention on this to news and stuff around the league. You see that Brian Cook's coming to town, and then Mafe. What's your reaction when some of those free agent moves play out, and it's they're going to the Bengals?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I'm excited. You know, kind of like I was talking about in the intro question. I think when those are special people. You know what I mean? They're special men, and so. The football part of all of this, I think, naturally takes care of itself because of their mindset and approach. But just in terms of the leaders that they are and that type of, veteranship that they're bringing to the locker room, like a Boye and Mafe, being able to give proper insight to a Miles Murphy in certain situations, or B. Cook being able to let Jordan Battle know, hey, this is how I'm seeing it, this is what I'm feeling, this is how I'm going to react to it. You know, having a peer, on that level and status, it makes the games a lot slower for you and a lot easier.
How necessary, needed was it on that side? You guys on offense have Joe. You obviously have Jamar, who I think among the skill guys kind of sets a tone there. You and Ted in the offensive line room, I think, helped set a tone for Amarius early in his career as he evolves, and Dylan, and then obviously Dalton emerged last year. Like, on offense, I could see the vision, right, from a leadership standpoint. When things get hard, they're going to get hard. How important is that to have that on defense, and how big of a need was it?
It was huge. It was huge. I always say, like, when you are building a roster and building an NFL team, it's important to have people to build around in each room. And whether that be player or coach, but to have these pieces that we have being put in there, from, like you said, Dex and B. Cook and, Boye and even some of these other, Kyle Duggars and those kind of guys that we brought in, I think they're going to be extremely impactful just because, like I said, they've been around the game.
When so many new players are brought into a locker room like an offseason like this, how does that change your offseason as one of the leaders of this team to make sure that everyone's on the same page culture-wise and ready to go by the time training camp gets here?
Yeah, spending more time together. That's really been the biggest thing, and I would tell you, since I've been here, I haven't seen a group this close in terms of just congruity, continuity, togetherness, man. Our team has spent a lot of time off the field together this offseason, and that in itself is going to help build a winning culture.
How have because I noticed almost right away Brian Cook was interacting with Dax and in the locker room, and I haven't been in every locker room this year. It's been a little different with doing this, and I saw Brian interact with Dax, and I was like, I noted it away. Like, he's got a good relationship with these guys already. He was messing around with a few of the other corners, joking with them, just normal teammate stuff.
Yeah.
But he just got here.
Yep.
How quickly has that bond happened, and how important is it? Because I noted that like mentally, and then Joe Burrow has mentioned Brian Cook like 52 times in interviews. So like clearly Brian has had an impact, and then you see his mic'd up where he's like, "Hey, everyone, say hi to your mom," and Barrett Carter praises him. Like, there's a track record now, and it's June 5th.
Yep. Yeah, no, bro. I mean, I just think he's just like come in and been himself. To be honest, like as a young rookie coming into Kansas City, I feel like he always kind of had this type of energy around him. And, you know, so much, too, of pro ball is having an opportunity to really flourish in a role that suits you, you know. And him coming here at this time, I think, is huge. I know during his tenure at UC, he was a very vital piece and an important leader, you know, to their team and their defense. And, you know, just his mindset and daily approach separates him from a lot of his peers. And so I think a lot of guys have taken a liking to him, man, and it's happened pretty quickly.
Have you guys bonded about making the leap from Kansas City to Cincinnati? Because you put the same track.
It's funny because I think the day I signed my extension, I think they were all coming in, him and Boye. So
they were,
so
there was a whirlwind for me when the release came down. Orlando Brown, and I'm going to ask you about that, the process. But you signed your extension. I'm like, wait, we have scramble drill. That's what we were doing. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I had a chance to talk to both of them then and talk to their families and stuff. So. But yeah, no, bro, they came in and fit in right away.
Yeah, working on that, getting the contract extension done early in this offseason. This season will be the longest you've been with one team in your career so far. What sets Cincinnati apart and led you to want to stay here so much?
So many things. I think for me, though, man, I have such a special connection with the men in our locker room. You know, my quarterback, you know, our receivers, you know, I'm playing with one of my best friends in Cody. The city overall has taken me in, man. I've done so much and really planted some seeds in the community in terms of a lot of the work I do, you know, my foundation and things like that. And I really love what we've started to build here. And, you know, that was my message to ownership before getting the extension done. Is, you know, we've started to really establish last year a very strong culture in our locker room, and I know the record didn't show that, but for me, I was like, man, I know that this is going to be something really special, you know, as we move forward, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity of being part of it.
When did you make up your mind that, hey, I'm going to go to ownership and talk extension? Like, it's one thing to want to be, but like, I'm gonna do that. You wrote Mike Brown a note.
I did.
Take me through the thought process that led you to, I'm gonna write him a letter, because that's obviously it's unique organization and certainly a unique process.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I don't think I even thought about it until the season ended. Like, I mean, probably when we were in the locker room after the Browns, after we lost that last game last year. You know, I think that was kind of when it hit me that, you know, I was gonna go in and you know, just see if they would entertain the opportunity, you know, to extend me. Obviously, going into my last year of my deal, and you know, to be honest, man, like I've like you said, I've been in the league 9 years now, and I've, you know, played so much football for so long, and you know, contract years are. It's weird, you know what I mean? Like,
and you had to deal with it.
I've dealt with a franchise tag. I've played in my 4th year. I've like, you know, been in that spot before. And to me, like I said, man, it was just so much of an extra element of distraction to me that I didn't think necessarily needed to be dealt with, because I felt like my approach in terms of the money I was asking for was going to be reasonable. And I wrote Mr. Brown a letter, and you know, I believe he shared that with the family and the front office, and got done, man. They were around pretty relatively early. I had to keep it quiet for a while, but probably sometime around the combine. So
and so right around the combine, then you get that deal done. I know Dalton's deal got agreed to at the combine. We were talking about it, speculating about it. That thing was done for like 4 days, and he was coming to town and all the everything that was involved with that, and he didn't sign it till March 1. When that happens and you're done, Dalton's coming back. You obviously believe in Amarius. You believe in Ted, and Dylan had the rookie year he had. How are you feeling as an offensive line in that moment? You're like, I'm going to be here and look at my guys around.
Yeah, well, man, we've got a really, really special group up front. You know, I've been a part of, like I said, some crazy football teams and great offensive lines, but our group is so different, man. I think, you know, when we talk about like just the guys in there, man, from Teddy K, you know, being who he is and everything he represents, you know, my man Mims coming into his own in his third year, some of the things I've seen him do this spring are, you know, light years ahead of, you know, where he was even just last year. And so he's continuing to jump forward. Dylan's getting so much better. You know, his jump from year 1 to 2 is going to be great. And, you know, even myself, man, being a seasoned vet here, going into my 4th season, I'm really excited about our group.
Yeah, I think fans are too. I want to dive into that group a bit more because the Bengals starting offensive line is back for a second year for the first time in Joe Burrow's career. I also want to ask you about Joe Burrow. Shocker. We want to talk about Joe as well. We will continue the conversation with Bengals star left tackle Orlando Brown Jr. next, right here on First Word.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones, a Cincinnati native, and I have been in media for about 10 years now. Formerly on the radio here in Cincinnati, I grew my love and obsession with finding all things fun in Cincinnati and have now made it my life. I'm originally from the West Side here, and then I've pretty much been a downtown girl ever since college. But I did leave for 7 years, and during that time, I really grew and harnessed and cut my teeth doing stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, learning how to ski in Colorado, and now I'm back here in Cincinnati, driven by curiosity and grounded by family.
Cincinnati, home to more than a dozen Fortune 500 companies. A city where you know someone who knows someone, and you're in business. Every weekday at noon, The Working Lunch brings you headlines from local businesses, along with exclusive interviews with owners and local leaders. East Side, West Side, northern suburbs, downtown over the Rhine, and northern Kentucky. Real conversations, real Cincinnati. The Working Lunch with Jack Crumley, weekdays at noon, only on The Crown.
Another Rebound Rundown local update. We're hopping across the Ohio River this time to Highland Heights in northern Kentucky, taking a look at Darren Horn's squad. The Norse trying to win the Horizon League, something they did a few years ago, something they've done multiple times under Darren Horn, trying to do that again with a fairly new look roster. Some returners, some fresh faces. Eric Acker from LaSalle, Noah Pagano, Will Short, BJ Davis-Ray, the addition from SMU. Saw a lot of game action at SMU as far as games played, but didn't see a ton of minutes with the Mustangs. But that is a high-profile ACC high major conference transfer that'll be suiting up for NKU this season. That is a major addition. Plus, you get the return of point guard Ethan Elliott, looking to add some more scoring there to Ethan Elliott's game this upcoming season. A lot to be excited about. One of the top squads expected to be in the Horizon League this year are the Norse. So stay tuned for plenty more right here about the Norse on the Rebound Rundown.
I'm James Rapien, and this is your First Word Bengals Minute. It's no secret that the Bengals made a gigantic move this offseason when they traded for Dexter Lawrence. The 6'4", 340-pound defensive tackle should transform a defense that has been awful over the past couple of years. The Bengals haven't made the playoffs since 2022, in large part because of the departures of key pieces of the teams that went to back-to-back AFC Championship games, teams that were Super Bowl contenders. Are the Bengals a Super Bowl contender with Dexter Lawrence? That remains to be seen. But what we do know is they have an identity on defense, and it revolves around Dexter Lawrence. By trading the 10th pick, the only time in team history they traded a top 10 draft pick for a player, they added a guy that should transform their defense and give them a real shot at getting back to Super Bowl contention. For more on the Bengals, make sure you check out First Word every single weekday, 7 to 11. Right here on The Crown. Orlando Brown Jr. is here. Welcome back to First Word. I'm James Rapien alongside Jacob Tissot and the Bengals star left tackle in the building. Let's clap it up one more time. Yes. Yes. Let's dive into this. I was just asking you about your durability. Your first 2 years, you suffered the groin issue. As an offensive lineman, you need your groin. It's tough to move without it.
Yes.
And so you were dealing with that. And then last year, or 2 years ago, you had the leg.
Yep.
Last year, you play in every game. You're healthy. I'm sure you were nicked up and banged up. But just to have that fully healthy year, how big was that for you? Because that's your career. You've been durable. In your first couple of years here, it wasn't the case.
Yeah, no, man. I last year, or the first 2 years, I'm gonna call it an anomaly, but I really pride myself on being available for my teammates and my coaches, man. It's just how it, something my dad ingrained in me early in the sport. And it was tough during those 2 years. Just some of those injuries were tough for me to deal with and get over because with the groin, I mean, it's such an important muscle. It was, literally my post leg. So I constantly was needing it to drive off and extend. So it was tough if I got into certain positions. I just didn't feel like I was able to move. And then, the broken fibula the following year, which was
that you played on.
That I played on, yeah. No, I mean, that one sucked really because I had, that was an impact injury. Like someone hit me, you know what I mean, in my fibula and, broke my leg. So that one wasn't necessarily, soft tissue. So, I don't know, it just hurt me different. That's the first broken bone I've ever had in my life, and I was, 28, 29 years old, or however old I was. But going into this year, man, I've never felt better, even last season. Like, my body feels great. I feel healthy. I'm ready to go.
Did you know it was broken, or did your leg just hurt?
No, I've never broken a bone before, and I heard a different sound on impact. And I remember Mims was like, "OB, you good?" And I said, "Hell no." And so I'm just like, I go to stand up and I'm like, "Wow, like this is a different kind of pain."
Yeah.
And yeah, bro, I knew something wasn't right. And I played in that game the following week against Philly.
Yeah.
And the fifth play of the game, Cordell, the guy gives Cordell Volson a double swipe, and his outside leg kicks me right in the same part of where it was broken the previous week. And
that's how it happened. That would never have happened if you didn't break your leg. You wouldn't have gotten kicked there, but it's just how.
Bro, it's crazy.
Yeah. And then you play. I just remember you played through it, and then after the win against Denver, was it the Denver win?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
On a broken leg. One of the best hype videos. I mean, did WWE call you after that? Because they were fired up, man.
I was fired up. Yeah, I think it just took a lot of mental preparation to be able to go those last two games. It was that Denver and Pittsburgh, I think, that year to go on and help us have a chance to get in the playoffs.
As someone who's been so durable and done it at such a high level throughout their NFL career, how did you take Mims under your wing kind of when he got here as a young player with a similar body type and play style?
Yeah, no, man. I think my first message to Mims, and Trent Brown was here as well, was play big. Yeah. And, it's very simple, but it's a message I think that he needed to hear, because a lot of times when younger tackles come to this level, there's so much they try to change and adjust. And, at the end of the day, intangibles, a lot of times I would share with you guys, override talent in a lot of situations on a professional level, because we could take some of, the best offensive tackles in the history of the game, and we could talk about Anthony Munoz and Jonathan Ogden and Walter Jones and Orlando Pace and Tony Baselli. And all of these tackles share long arms, over 6'6", long legs, freak hips. It's just certain intangibles to me that it takes to have. And Mims checks off every single one and some. And coming in for him, man, I wanted to just make sure that he had the confidence and understanding of that. And from that point, then you grow once you kind of have that opportunity to play against really good players.
You mentioned that this spring you've seen him take another step even compared to last year. And I thought he took a huge leap rookie year to second year, partially just because he needed to play.
Yeah.
Didn't play a ton of, just getting reps under his belt, because you're right, you see him and he's different. He looks like a first-round tackle. Played like it last year for sure. What have you seen from him this spring? Because I do think when all these lists come out of breakout players for the Bengals, he's going to be high on the list, if not number one.
Oh, yeah, for sure, and rightfully so. For me, I just think the way he's moving so much better. Believe it or not, he's even gotten stronger in the weight room. I mean, this guy's crazy, bro. I hope one of my kids has this like genetic ability somehow, some way. But like, I mean, he's insane in terms of just like some of his movements, and his strength has even gotten better. And he's just more seasoned now too, man.
Yeah.
He's seen it. Tackle is a position of feel, and he's seen so much of great rushers, so many great rushers, and played against a lot of really good players, man. He's gonna be able to take that next step.
How about the other Bulldog on that offensive line? Dylan Fairchild had a great rookie year, one of the most exciting rookies in the league last year. What kind of steps is he going to take in his second season?
Yeah, man, Dill's another guy that this offseason, I mean, he's moving much quicker. He's much more seasoned. I think for Dill, just finding his version of winning football, just like all of us coming in as young players, it's always tough, especially when you're kind of thrown into the fire early. And so he was the guy from the moment he got here, being at left guard. And so he's really just had the opportunity for one to grow, but he's been living in that fire for a while. And so, it started to kind of cool down for him sometime in December last year, or even before that, but like just in terms of the speed of Sundays. But he's gotten so much better, man, just the way he's moving and his focus and his fundamentals.
Would any of the other offensive linemen beat him in a wrestling match? No. I mean, Mims is a freak.
Yeah.
You're a freak, but Dylan is like the state champ, undefeated.
Dill's really good, bro. Like we all kind of have done like this wrestling deal. Like Coach Scott had us do like.
I'm shocked that he had you do that.
Yeah,
no,
I was
going to say throw his hat in the ring.
Like funny story. Every Friday, Cody Ford tries Scott Peters with some type of like jiu-jitsu wrestling move. And Cody's never done jiu-jitsu or wrestling. And so the first time he did it, I mean, it took Cody probably, I'm going to say 9-10 weeks into the season to build up the courage to do this. And so every Friday he would say, he'd be like, man, I'm going to get Scott. And we think he was joking. So like I said, it's week 9 or week 10, whoever we're playing. And so we're in Friday. Scott's like putting a little zen in or something and staring. And Cody comes behind him and tries to like straight up put him in like a chokehold. And I never seen someone like, I mean, it was like out of a movie. Like he flipped Cody on his back, put him in like something. I mean it was ridiculous. Like,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I just would recommend, man, if you live in the city of Cincinnati, don't mess with Scott Peters. So.
That is hilarious. Cody's not small. Cody's huge. He's an offensive lineman. Scott's a former lineman, but like Cody's bigger than Scott now, and he flips him.
Yes, no problem. Yeah.
I'm never messing with Scott.
Yeah, don't mess with Scott.
What has Scott Peters meant to that room since he's gotten here as the offensive line coach?
A lot, man. He's meant a lot. He's really helped, I think, bring it all together. And he's been a big part of, you could say the glue, him and our assistant offensive line coach, Mike McCarthy, just helping guys grow, helping, veterans like myself and Ted even grow in confidence and taking more ownership of our role, to help better the team.
I think it's fair to say Cody Ford a better wide receiver than wrestler.
Yes.
Fair?
Very fair. Very fair. Yeah.
I mean,
very fair. Yeah.
I was thinking hey, he almost scored on that. So has he lined up at receiver at all throughout this offseason?
No, but I'm sure he's probably been working on his hands behind closed doors. He's ready for his moment. I guarantee you that.
What's the offensive line room's reaction to seeing a guy out there catching a ball in a game?
Bro, well, what's crazy is like, so like taking you through the thought process of an offensive lineman, like when the play is coming in, like I'm for one, it's a few things I'm paying attention to. I'm looking at the situation, you know, I'm listening for the personnel that we have in. I'm always got my back to the huddle because I'm looking at their personnel, and then I'm listening for a few key words in a play call. Like, you know, I don't like to overwhelm myself with too much information, but I'm listening for a few key words. And so, you know, jet protection, pretty universal around the NFL, is like 6-man pass pro. And so, you know, I hear the personnel come in, I see Cody come in, he's reporting, and then I hear jet. And so nobody up front, when we hear jet, all of our focus goes into pass protection because it's like the hardest thing we do.
Yeah.
And so we didn't even realize that like he was going to catch this ball. I didn't realize it was the play that, you know, we had worked on a few times leading up to that. And I mean, yeah, bro, he went out there and he caught that ball. I thought he was going to score. Actually, I thought he scored. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. None of us could. Like it was crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
like,
one of the craziest plays last year. For sure.
It's like Bobby Boucher. Or something.
It was very Bobby Boucher like out of nowhere, unexpected. But man, that worked.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I think I didn't anticipate. With all due respect to Cody Ford, to have so much Cody Ford talk with you, and yet I love it because now I'm just picturing him rumble down the sideline and then also get flipped over.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So all right. So you wouldn't pull a trick on Scott Peters. We know that much.
No chance. No chance.
I don't.
He's been around the block too many times.
Yeah. No chance. No chance.
What does Dalton Reisner mean to that room? And as someone that you didn't bounce around like him as much, you know, you're part of a big trade to go to Kansas City, and then you sign in free agency. But he's bounced around. He was a second-round pick.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah. I still don't really know why he's on a one-year deal. It's surprising to me this offseason that's the case because he feels like he's been a good locker room guy, and obviously he was good on the field for you guys.
Yeah, no, you know, like Dalton's like that part of Dalton's career is unfortunate, you know, but it's like it's the business of the NFL. And so sometimes guys like him, you know, even Cody, or sometimes someone like I'm trying to think here, like Andre Dillard, that was in Philly and that was in Tennessee. You know, sometimes when you're projected high, you go high, and things don't necessarily happen as quickly like as they do for other players, you kind of get put into this box and from a business world. And I think he's just kind of been on that side of things, and he's got the opportunity here, and he did a lot of it last year to really kind of rebuild and reshape that. But Dalton is so important to who we are. We talk about finish, you know, just him being there to help up ball carriers after every play. He spent so much time running in the offseason, I'm not surprised. At first, I could not understand how he did it, but I see how much he runs now, I get it. But that his juice on Sundays, man, that he brings, you know, I think Dalton helps bring a very healthy balance to, you know, all of us, you know, from myself being crazy to Ted being crazy and, you know, Mims being young. You know, I think he brings a great balance to all of us, man, and he's been a huge part of us. And,
elaborate on Ted being crazy.
Yeah.
Because everyone sees Cincy hat and sees, like,
he's yours, Tennessee, like all of that,
yeah.
Like Ted being crazy. I'm trying to think of something because this guy does have a brand. I can't say too much. But
he is fiery on the field, though.
He's very fiery.
Yes.
He's very fiery. Ted is, I mean, it's kind of funny, like, when you look back on it. Like, I don't really know how to put it into words outside of crazy, but I wouldn't want to go to battle with any other center. Like, that's just, like, the best way that I could put it.
And what does it mean to have all 5 of those guys back this year? You've been here, and that hasn't been the case year in and year out. The first time of Joe Burrow's career, he has all 5 returning next year in front of him.
Bro, it's huge, man. It's huge because we talk about continuity. We've spent so much time together. We've all communicated. We've gotten to know each other off the field. All of those things are so important when we talk about building a successful offensive line. And you throw in the fact that I'm in my 4th year in the system, Dill and Dalton being year 2, Mims in year 3, Ted's in year 6 or 5, I think. In
Oh,
the system.
here.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's huge. That's huge because that's just an extra element of the game that doesn't necessarily have to be worried about.
Yeah, year 5.
Yeah.
26 this year,
Yeah.
which is crazy to think about,
Yeah.
but it is.
Wow.
Yeah, he got here in 22.
Dang.
So
Yeah.
so he's been here every year. You've been here
Yeah.
except for one.
Yeah. Wow.
I told you I was going to ask you about Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
When Joe Burrow says we're going to go out and win a lot of games in
Yeah.
a Super Bowl,
Yeah.
I told Ted this earlier this week. I had to go back and read it, and then I still didn't believe he said it because a lot of guys will say like we're going to go out and try to win a Super Bowl, contend for a Super Bowl, like they give it with some kind of qualifier because it's hard.
It is.
And he says that I know he knew what he was saying. I would assume. What did that have on the locker room? What kind of I'm sure you guys saw it and reacted to it in the locker room. What does that mean when your quarterback says that in May, and it was May at the time?
Yeah, no, it means a lot because, that's what we're working for, man. We don't really guys are tired of being home in February, in January. And this sport means a lot to a lot of people in that building, and especially from us as a player perspective and starting with our quarterback. And going out to win a Super Bowl, like that's at the top of everybody's list in there. And so, honestly, none of us, I would say, are surprised by that comment because it's kind of like our expectation and approach to kind of this offseason and training camp and moving into the season is guys just have that immense focus that it's time to go get that done.
How would you describe Joe Burrow?
Man, he's very unique. He's, I would say, meticulous in his intent with the way he socializes, works, plays a quarterback position. He's very meticulous and he's super intelligent. I think one of the more cooler things about him, though, is he's very emotionally aware. I've noticed that over the years that he's got a very keen sense of understanding the mood that some guys are in and how to approach him and how to help get the most out of him.
I think the thing, at least from my vantage point, which is a much different vantage point than you, that is wild to me is when the speculation of, another injury, is Joe gonna Andrew Luck it and all the national stuff. The one thing I know about Joe, outside of the foundation stuff, is that he loves football.
Yeah.
Like I think he's always gonna. Like I can't picture a 20-something-year-old Joe Burrow not play football.
Big time. Well, I mean, I think, and I've touched on this in the past, man. Like, football is America's sport because it's somewhat relatable in a lot of different ways, and so. I know you guys are on the media side, but a lot of narratives, they are centered around certain things for attention. And Joe loves the game of football, man. And he's gonna go out here and he's gonna ball out. I think I would compare it to those early Jamar Chase haters saying he wasn't gonna be good because the preseason drops. It's like it's part of the sport, man.
Yeah. I think that's. It's a good point, and I think that's something that you can relate to too. Because I know you love football. I think you're going to play and play and play and play.
Oh yeah.
Is that
absolutely? Yeah, I'm going to make him retire me. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Since what? Like, is that just? It's always been the plan. You can play 20 years.
Yeah, bro. If I can play, ideally, I want to play to 40, and hopefully, I can walk away from the game and still be able to walk and talk. But I would like to play till I'm 40, just as long as I can.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. We hope you play here till you're 40.
Absolutely. Yes, that's the plan. Whenever they're done with me, I'm done.
Well, we're not done with you. We hope to have you back. We hope this was painless. By the way, love that. When's the last time you watched Training Day?
Man, probably about a year ago.
Yeah. I just got it on 4K because I was
you and your 4K discs, man.
You got DVD 4K disc?
I'll show you guys why at another day.
It's a good play. It's a good play.
The sound, man. Denzel's rant. Yeah. It's a good play. Yes. Shout out to Orlando Brown Jr. for joining us. We will back with more First Word with you till 11 right here on The Crowd.
This is the Rebound Rundown. I'm your host, Paul Fritchner. Your home for college basketball in the Cincinnati area and across the country every Monday through Friday during the season. Previews, recaps, breakdowns, interviews, and more. You can find it all right here. Your one-stop shop for a quick dose of college hoops on your morning commute. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm James Rapien, and this is your First Word Bengals Minute. Obviously, Dexter Lawrence was a big addition this offseason, but I'm not sure there's going to be a guy that has a bigger impact than Brian Cook. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. The Bengals safeties have stunk over the past couple of years, and the Bengals have missed the playoffs not one, not two, but 3 straight seasons. That coincides, that streak, with the loss of Jesse Bates. And Brian Cook is someone that's going to come in and bring leadership, bring 2 Super Bowl rings, and bring the identity that they need on the back end because he's going to do his job. Jesse Bates was so good at putting out fires around him, covering up mistakes that other people would make on defense. Brian Cook can do that. He's big, he's fast, he's physical. Joe Burrow has praised him for what he's done to the Bengals locker room from a culture standpoint, what he's brought. Brian Cook is going to be a game changer. For more, make sure you check out First Word weekdays, 7 to 11, right here on The Crown. The Crown has you covered. Start your day with First Word, Cincinnati's only morning sports show. Power through midday with the working lunch, Cincinnati business talk that keeps you in the know. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And the Rebound Rundown covers every corner of the college basketball scene in the tri-state and beyond. This is The Crown. First Word for your morning sports. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. The working lunch for business that hits home. And Rebound Rundown for college hoops. This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
My name is Jacob Tissot, and I'm a co-host of First Word from 7 to 11 every morning right here on the Crown Network, where we will break down the biggest stories in Cincinnati sports. I'm a graduate of the University of Alabama, where I spent 4 seasons working for the football team as a student assistant, contributing to the 2020 National Championship and 3 SEC championships. I'm a Cincinnati native, a St. Xavier High School graduate, and will bring a local perspective and passion to covering the Bengals, Reds, and everything in between. I'm excited to have you join us on First Word.
First Word rolls on a Friday. Orlando Brown Jr. crushed it.
What a time.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
What a time. Yeah, what a time. Love that he was here. Shout out to him for joining us during launch week, and shout out to you for watching and supporting us. My goodness, I'm just thinking of everything that's going to be on our YouTube page, from Orlando Brown Jr., Jeremy Fowler, Ted Karras, Steve Radicevic, Roman Celentano, a ton of guests here, and this is just week 1.
Yeah, unbelievable. Thank you to everyone who's watched and joined us in studio for the time. It's been phenomenal this week, and only up from here. That's the best part about starting with these guests on launch week. We'll just keep going up.
Yes. Already, literally, Anthony Breen was like, hey, you want to have this person on next week? I was like, yes. Yep. Yes, we do. And so shout out to you. Don't go anywhere. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Obviously, we're live on The Rock every single weekday, 7 to 11. We also are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast, live on YouTube. You can listen live on Mixlr. And the cool thing about Mixlr is it'll notify you when we go live. For YouTube, you ring the bell. It'll notify you when we go live every morning, and you can catch up on all the interviews. If you're just joining us and you missed Orlando Brown Jr., guess what we're going to do? We're going to post it on YouTube for you so you can watch it. We're going to post it wherever you get your podcast so you can listen to it as well. Just a reminder that the Working Lunch with Jack Crumley today at noon. Also check out the rest of the Crown shows right here. Man, we are going to take a breath, and we're going to dive into a big weekend for the Reds and get you set for a huge weekend of sports. We got the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup, and a big Red Series in St. Louis. We will preview it all in our Cincy Sports Forecast, and next, right here on First Word.
I'm here with Heather Britt. She is the founder and creator of the Dance Mix Foundation. This is the first inaugural Kids Dance Day. Tell us what you've done.
So we've been in 9 schools over Greater Cincinnati that we have been teaching a dance to over the last 3 weeks. They've practiced and now they're coming together to perform and then see other arts experience. Cincinnati Ballet, Art Museum, Playhouse in the Park. So they're gonna have a great day.
Shoot. Let's go.
You stepped aside with a vibe I ain't never seen. Yes, you did. Ooh, so girl, it's all I can.
This is so cool! This is so much fun!
It would break my heart, break my heart, break my heart if I find out you ain't moved. You better show me now, show me now, show me now. 'Cause when I take it to the floor, you gotta get down. You know what to do. Hey, Mr. DJ.
Oh, you guys are doing a great job. Whoa! Why did you want to start this and do this?
Our mission is health, happiness, connection, but really about arts access as well and inclusion.
Nice job! Nice job! Hey! Hey, your shoelaces are untied. Your shoelaces are untied. You don't know how to tie it? Can I do it? All right, cool. All right, I'll teach you. What's your name?
Tayden.
Tayden. Have you been having fun today?
Yeah.
Now he's good to go. That was making me so nervous. 1, 2, 3, dance miss! Great job today. Great job today.
This city has always had something to prove. While the rest of the country talked about us, we built our own voice. Blue collar, underdogs, built differently, overlooked, talked about like we were supposed to stay quiet. But that was never who we were, because this city doesn't wait for permission. And neither do we. And now, for the first time, Cincinnati has a network built in its image, because the biggest stories in this city deserve more than highlights. This isn't cable television. This isn't national media. This is ours. This is the Crown.
in the books. Look at me, I'm fired up, baby.
The arms are going.
Fired up, they don't know that. What are you gonna? You don't gotta tell them that the arms are going.
You're showing them now.
What are you talking about? They can't see that. Oh, hey. Welcome back to First Word. I'm James Rapien. He's Jacob Tissot. He's fired up because he just got to meet Ted Karras and Orlando Brown Jr. and Steve Radicevic. And if you missed any of our interviews this week, check them out on the First Word YouTube page or wherever you get your podcast. Let's dive into a huge weekend for Cincinnati sports. Starting with the Reds in 1 second. First, Gabe, let's fire it off. A thank you to everybody that supported us. That's all the well wishes, all the nice comments, everything. Our guy, Sam Chavez, with a nice 10-second thank you that is just smooth. Yeah, I love it.
I'm happy to announce that Cincinnati finally has a morning sports show, and it's one that you can watch right here on YouTube called First Word.
We are feeling the love. Feeling the love there, and we certainly hope that you loved every second of this first week of the first word. Yeah, it's
first week, first word.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, there we go. A lot of firsts.
Yeah.
A lot of firsts. First time we had Orlando Brown Jr. on. The next time that Marisa is here will be the first time, and so I'm really excited about that one as well.
Ooh, got it in there.
Got her again.
One last time.
Bam! One more time on vacation. Hey, that's what she missed out. That's it. I'm gonna go hiking. Well,
you couldn't pay me to go on vacation this week.
Wow, look at that. See, that's called Fired Up Friday. Let's get to a big weekend for the Cincinnati Reds in St. Louis as they try to make up for some lost time. They lost 2 of 3 to the Royals. That can't continue. They can't keep dropping series, especially to inferior teams. The St. Louis Cardinals, they're better. They're 32-28 on the season, but they've lost 7 of their last 10 games. And so the Cardinals certainly beatable. Brady Singer on the mound tonight. What's your confidence level on Brady Singer?
Low, but not zero.
Nathaniel Lowe?
Nathaniel Lowe, much higher confidence in Nathaniel Lowe against right-handed pitching than against Brady Singer on the mound tonight. But I think the hope with Singer is that you're not asking him to go out there and throw 7 shutout innings or anything along those lines. That was the issue with Lodolo coming back from injury, was that getting him back up to speed. And Abbott, even earlier this season, the expectations are so high for those guys. So when they're throwing a 5, 6, 7 ERA, it's killing this rotation. Now, Brady Singer sitting at a 6 certainly isn't pretty, but the perfect season for Brady Singer is around a 4.5, a 4.2, so it's within striking distance. He can get there within a few starts, within probably 3 or 4 weeks' time, and that's exactly where the Reds need him to be as this rotation continues to get healthy. If you can just mark down every single 5th day that Brady Singer is going to give you length and keep you in the game when it's time to go to the bullpen, that's all you want, and hopefully he can get there tonight.
Yeah, for sure. If Brady Singer gives them a good start, that it's like, all right, you got to take advantage of it. You got to find a way to get a dub, and it's partially because you feel good. At least I do. I feel good about Nick Lodolo Saturday, and Rhett Lauder's coming back Sunday, and that's going to be a huge return. Not the Hunter Green level, not the Nick Lodolo level, but certainly something we're monitoring. Get 2 of 3 Reds, because coming into the year, if you would have said Singer, Lodolo, Lauder, I would have felt pretty good going into Busch Stadium.
Yeah, and I think the easiest thing in baseball is, we can sit here and say must-win series is over if they lose this or get swept. The Royals series, how do you lose that? If the Reds go to St. Louis and win this series, we'll be sitting here on Monday talking about, they beat the Cardinals, they won the division, they're over 500, let's go. Turn it on in time for the summer. You can forget about the Royals series if you go this weekend and beat the Cardinals. So take care of business. It's 162 games, but we'll hold on to each one like it's the NFL season. So go win against the Cardinals. Get back on track. The nice thing about the Reds right now is they built themselves so much wiggle room in April that May hasn't completely killed their season.
Yeah, you're right. If they had been 500 in April and done what they did in May, wouldn't feel good. That being said, 2 things to get to. NBA Finals Game 2 tonight. Boy, oh boy, will we be sitting here with the series tied on Monday going into Game 3, or will the Knicks shock the world and go up 2-0?
I'm going to say it's tied. I'm going to co-sign the Joe Danneman take from yesterday. The winner of Game 2 is going to win this series. I pretty firmly believe that at this point. So if the Knicks take care of business, maybe it's wrapped up before it gets back to San Antonio. But if San Antonio wins, I do think they hold the trophy at the end.
Knicks in 6. I've said that before. The Spurs are going to get Game 2. It'll be close. And meanwhile, the Stanley Cup has been amazing. Yeah. It's been crazy. Carolina handling business in OT last night. It's Vegas. It's Carolina. I think you're going to take Vegas. I'm going to take Carolina. So we'll go head to head.
Works for me.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go Knicks. Knicks in 6. I need it to happen. I'm the only one of the First Word crew in on the Knicks. You mentioned we'll sit here on Monday and we'll see what the Reds have done and how we're feeling. I wonder if it's just going to be us sitting here on Monday or if Marisa's going to join us. That is a tease. Regardless, we got to thank you. We got to thank each and every one of you for watching. Thank each and every one of you for listening, for supporting, for messaging, and make sure you check us out everywhere. Obviously, we're live on The Rock. We're live on YouTube, but not just live on YouTube. Every show's on YouTube. Interviews are on YouTube. And Spotify, Apple, iHeart. Check us out there. Thank you so much for supporting First Word during our first official week. Jack Crumley and the Working Lunch coming up at noon today on RESN. And until next time, for the entire First Word crew and Jacob Tissot, I'm James Rapien. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you on Monday morning right here on First Word.